Hey guys, welcome to Philadelphia Live. I'm Judea Murray. You're taking a live look at a couple of different things that are happening all across our country. So right here on Philadelphia Live, we go over breaking news, live news. If it's happening, we bring it out to you. So in the top left corner, you're taking a look at a church fire burning over in San Francisco. We're hearing that this is the Seventh-day Adventist church out there in the area. Now, officials initially called this in as a one-alarm fire, but as you can see, the smoke is really thick in the area, very dark. It's posing a harm to people nearby, and so they have now upgraded it to a two-alarm fire. They say it has now made its way to the upper levels of the church. So far, though, we're not hearing about anybody being injured. You're also taking a live look at the Supreme Court. That's because a couple of big decisions have been coming down. We'll get into how President Donald Trump is involved and how our lawmakers are responding in just a little while. You're also taking a live look at the Great American State Fair. Got an update for you on how that's going. You know, there was that point in time where there were a couple of celebrities who said maybe they didn't want to perform there. We're also hearing reports of whether or not businesses from a couple of different states, including our very own here in Pennsylvania, were interested in being there. I have an update for you on that as well. And then last but not least, you're taking a live look on the House floor. Our lawmakers are still at it, talking more and more about what they want to pass, what they want to pose, all that's going down on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. But I also want to bring you some big news that we just got into our newsroom. So remember that shooting at Wilmington Hospital? We had learned there that there was a suspect, a 23-year-old named John Wallace Bay, who was accused in opening fire there. They say that he was an intern at one point in time, and for some reason or another, he entered the hospital and opened fire on two of his fellow colleagues, two 19-year-olds, and unfortunately one of them passed away. Well, that suspect, John Wallace Bay, was found later on in Philadelphia, and today officials are saying they want him back in Delaware to face a judge. So his order for extradition has officially been put out there. Delaware now has 30 days to come and get him. That is the latest that we have there on that story. You can find more on our website. You can also go to our free Fox Local app and check out a little bit more on that story. But let's get you into what's happening day of. The weather has been crazy, and I hear it's only going to get crazier, and it's impacting some of the big events that we have coming up. I want to bring in one of our reporters, Jill. She got right out to figure out how this is going to impact a couple of things coming up, like even the parade. Jill?
Hey, Judea, we're right along Market Street in Center City. That's right where the Salute to Independence parade will be going through at some point on the 3rd. And we felt the heat, we felt the humidity today, and it's just going to get worse. There's going to be record-breaking heat, triple digits on Thursday and Friday. And that's right when that parade, like I mentioned, is going to be happening on the 3rd. So not the best timing for record-breaking heat in those triple digits. And the float prep, though, it's all underway at the convention center. We made our way today, saw the preps all in action. There's in total 19 floats that will be put together and over 40 bands. So as you can imagine, it's a lot to people to account for during a heat event like this, a record-breaking heat event like this. The theme this year is called Canvas of America. They want everyone to be represented. And even though it's going to be so hot, the parade is not called off, but something is happening that's also record-breaking for the parade. Never in its history has it been altered like this, where it's going from 2.4 miles down to 1 mile on on Friday, the 3rd. So participants, they're going to get water at the end from organizers, but then before they're asked to do some pre-hydration measures, and they're based off their own protocols with the group on the float or what the parade band will be doing. So heat concerns, they've shortened that parade, like I said, first time ever. Here's where it's going. I'll try to say it a little slow so you can kind of internalize it a little bit. So it's going to start at 5th and Chestnut, goes to 6th, makes a right on 6th, left on Market to City Hall, then left on Juniper, and it ends at Chestnut in South Broad. So that kicks off at noon, like I said, shortened down to 1 mile. Now, Todd, who's the producer of the parade, he's asking people, bring coverings. obviously that sun exposure is going to be there with all of this heat. So if you can, bring a tent, an umbrella is a great alternative as well. He wants folks to stay hydrated, bring the water, and we're just going to have to navigate this. Originally, there were calls for rain, and he said he actually wished it stayed rain instead of this heat because they have to make some changes, but they're navigating it pretty well. They're still excited. Hopes are still high, but there's that one thing that's going to change. So just be aware if you're going, the route has changed.
Jill, thank you for giving us that. Now, I do want to say people are always popping in, and we just started the show, so there may be some people who missed out on what the new route is. You gave it to us slowly. Can you do it one more time?
Yeah. So here's the new route from 2.4 miles to 1. And this is for Friday, July 3rd, Salute to Independence Parade. It goes 5th and Chestnut is where it starts. Then it goes to 6th, makes a right on 6th, left on Market, goes to City Hall, left on Juniper, and then it ends at Chestnut and South Broad. So that's the new mile route. They said it depends on pacing, how long the event goes, but usually about 3 minutes per block.
Okay. And then one more time, what time does it start, just in case our audience wants to get out there and have a good time?
Yeah, of course, noon July 3rd, and the timing really depends on pacing, but it still has that noon start time on the 3rd, the parade.
Okay, now I just want to nerd out because you, in my opinion, got the opportunity of a lifetime. I love parades, and getting to see the floats up close and personal has to be pretty cool. And did you see anything that really blew your mind?
It was so cool. I'm a huge Wawa fan. So as you can imagine, there was some representation of Wawa. There's a huge red coffee cup. So that was really cool to see. I saw a huge eagle. It's just so cool to see up close, and we saw people putting those finishing touches. I also talked with a guy who owns all of the floats that are in the parade. He says they're about 60% the way there when it comes to finishing all of those floats. He doesn't seem worried. He's like, by tomorrow we'll be about 90. So they're on schedule and things look really cool. So you have to go out and see it for yourself. Just bring some water. No, I
Kentucky seek recognition.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the House suspend the rules and pass the bill, H.R. 7757, as amended.
The clerk will report the bill. Will report the title of the bill.
H.R. 7757, a bill to protect children and teens online, empower parents, and strengthen families, and for other purposes.
Pursuant to the rule, the gentleman from Kentucky, Mr. Guthrie, and the gentleman from New Jersey, Mr. Pallone, each will control 20 minutes. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Kentucky.
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that all members may have 5 legislative days to revise and extend their remarks on the legislation and to insert extraneous materials on H.R. 7757.
Without objection.
Mr. Speaker, I yield myself as much time as I may consume.
Recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today in strong support of H.R. 7757, the Kids Internet and Digital Safety Act, or the KIDS Act. This legislation is the most comprehensive, impactful children's online safety package Congress has considered. I want to thank Ranking Member Pallone for his partnership and leadership on this issue. Protecting children should not be a partisan issue, and I appreciate his commitment and us working together to find common ground to address the very real challenges facing families today. Before I continue, I want to recognize 2 parents who are with us in the gallery today. Deb Schmel, mother of Becca, and Maureen Millark, mother of David. They have experienced every parent's worst nightmare, losing a child because of online harms. Thank you for your courage in sharing your stories and for turning unimaginable loss into tireless advocacy to help protect other children and families. Your presence here today reminds us of what is at stake, and your voices have helped shape this legislation. A key part of our approach was negotiating a package of impactful provisions. We worked hard to reach a workable compromise. The KIDS Act incorporates 13 bipartisan member priorities from across the House to empower parents, protect children and teens' privacy, and hold big tech and online forums accountable. The bill protects platforms. The bill requires platforms to protect kids by default, including limiting addictive and dangerous design features and risky messaging functions. It gives parents stronger tools to monitor and manage their children's online experiences, establishes safeguards for AI chatbots, creates new protections in online gaming environments, and requires age verification for pornography websites to ensure kids cannot access explicit content. The legislation also modernizes children's privacy protections by requiring parental consent before collecting information from children under 14 and extending important new privacy protections to teenagers under 18. At its core, this legislation sends a simple message. Children deserve safer online experience. Parents deserve a greater voice in their children's digital lives, and technology companies must be held accountable when they fail to protect young users. While no single bill will solve every challenge facing families online, this legislation represents a significant and long overdue step forward in establishing meaningful safeguards. It is an important milestone, not a finish line, in the effort to better protect children online and bad actors and hold them accountable. I urge my colleagues to support this bipartisan legislation, and I reserve the balance of my time.
The chair reminds members not to refer to persons in the gallery. Gentleman from New Jersey is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield myself such time as I may consume.
So moved.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today in strong support of the KIDS Act, which is, as my chairman has mentioned, bipartisan legislation to protect kids online and rein in big tech. And I do want to thank our Chairman Guthrie for all his work on this. The internet, social media, and now artificial intelligence have profoundly changed how kids and teens connect with families and friends, how they learn about what's happening around them, and how they participate in an ever-changing online world. And while there have been positive advancements, our kids are also suffering from big tech's chokehold on their attention and the relentless pursuit to keep them connected to their platforms. Big tech is using reckless practices to surveil our kids and teens, exploit vulnerabilities to turn a profit, and promote engagement regardless of the consequences. And for too long, Big tech has had a free pass while kids and teens face real harm online, including predatory design features, dangerous AI chatbots, and data brokers profiting off their personal information. And we simply cannot allow this to continue. It's long past time for Congress to step in and pass legislation that protects our kids and teens and reins in big tech. Now, the Bipartisan Kids Act does just that. It's a comprehensive bill that addresses a problem everyone in Congress cares deeply about, and that's keeping kids and teens safe online. The KIDS Act mandates safeguards, parental tools, and policy across video games, social media platforms, including social gaming platforms like Roblox and chatbots. Platforms are required to limit addictive design features, restrict sharing minors' geolocation data, turn off personalized recommendation systems that drive user engagement, and a lot more. And the KIDS Act also changes the business incentives driving big tech's desire to keep kids on their platforms by protecting minors' data and expanding these critical privacy protections from the current age of 12 to teens up to the age of 17. The bill also bans targeted advertising to kids and teens and ensures that websites can only collect and retain limited kids' data that is necessary to provide a product or service. It also requires data brokers that sell minors' data to register with the Federal Trade Commission and pay an annual fee, bringing transparency to a secretive process and a crucial first step towards ending the practice of data brokers selling kids' data. And, Mr. Speaker, I can't express enough gratitude to all of the parents who have shared their stories and fought for Congress to come together and take action to save other parents from ever experiencing what they went through. I know there are parents who would like Congress to go even further than the KIDS Act, and I want to be clear. The KIDS Act is a floor, not a ceiling. The preemption language in the KIDS Act is written with the explicit intent of ensuring that states have the authority to pass and enforce stronger state laws, including those with a duty of care. It's also intended to ensure that ongoing lawsuits against social media companies, chatbots providers, and social gaming companies brought by state attorneys general and attorneys on behalf of parents and kids can continue, including those based on a duty of care and consumer protection laws. So I'm proud to lead this legislation alongside Chairman Guthrie. For many months now, the Energy and Commerce Committee has been working on legislative solutions to protect our kids and teens online, and this comprehensive bipartisan bill is the result of those ongoing negotiations. This is an example of how the Energy and Commerce Committee works its best. I'm also grateful for the tireless work of Representative Castor, a senior committee member who has been a steadfast champion of the strongest possible protection for kids online. So I urge my colleagues to vote yes on the KIDS Act to make the internet a safer place for our kids and teens, and I reserve the balance of my time, Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman reserves.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I will yield 4 minutes to the author of this legislation who's worked tirelessly on this legislation, who's the chairman of the subcommittee was responsible for this piece of legislation, my good friend from Florida, Mr. Bilirakis.
Thank you,
Gentleman
Mr.
from Florida.
Chairman. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to speak in strong support of H.R. 7757, the Kids Internet and Digital Safety Act, or the KIDS Act. This package will finally give parents real tools to protect their kids online. A key provision in the KIDS Act is my Kids Online Safety Act, or KOSA. I've been working on KOSA, Mr. Speaker, for 3 years, and I'm proud to see it finally reach the House floor. The need for action has never been clearer. Nearly half of American teenagers say they are online almost constantly. About half spend 4 or more hours a day on screens for leisure, and 95% have a smartphone in their pocket, placing them in a digital environment that too often prioritizes engagement and profit over safety. Big tech platforms are not neutral. Their algorithms are designed to maximize attention, not protect kids. Kids are pushed toward harmful content, Mr. Speaker, harmful content, targeted by predatory actors and funneled into design features built to keep them scrolling longer. Families across the country have paid the price, Mr. Speaker, from exploitation and harassment to content content that fuels anxiety, depression, eating disorders, and self-harm, unfortunately. That's why this bill and COSA in particular are so very important. It establishes clear targeted obligations for large online platforms to take steps to prevent and mitigate specific harms to minors. It focuses on addressing documented risks such as sexual exploitation, drug and alcohol abuse, eating disorders, and self-harm content that can be amplified through algorithmic recommendation systems and engagement-driven design. COSA requires platforms to put in place concrete safeguards, limiting harmful design features, improving transparency around how systems impact children, and giving parents strong tools to understand and manage their children's online experiences. It also ensures big tech is held accountable for their decisions through FTC enforcement and state attorneys general. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the chairman of the full committee and the staff, the excellent staff. We never gave up. We persevered, and we have a good product thanks to them. And I want to thank the ranking member as well, Pallone and Ms. Castor, for working with me on this piece of legislation. Again, the chairman gives me credit, but he is responsible as well. But again, the goal is to protect the kids, and I appreciate all the input from the parents over the years. So let's get this across the finish line and protect our children. And I'll yield back. Thank you.
Gentleman reserve.
Talking about the housing bill as a yawn compared to the Save America Act. So we'll continue to follow the very latest with President Trump and his remarks, all right here on Live Now from Fox. All right, we want to switch gears here and talk about a huge case that is now back in the news. We are talking about the Alex Murdaugh case. He was back in court today for the first time since the South Carolina Supreme Court overturned his double murder conviction and life sentence last month. Back in 2023, a jury found Murdaugh guilty of murdering his wife, Maggie, and son, Paul. But the state's high court threw out those convictions, saying a clerk's comments to jurors denied Murdaugh a fair trial. So for more on this, we want to go out right now to Fox News' Pete Cudahy joining us here. Pete, you were inside the courtroom today, and his legal team was making request to the judge, and did they get what they wanted?
Hey, Mike. Alex Murdaugh's attorneys are going to have to wait a little bit longer for answers. Today, the judge made it clear that her intention was scheduling. However, that didn't stop her from also listening to the 4 motions that the defense made. But she said she's not going to make a ruling until the pretrial hearing, which she's scheduled for August 14th. One thing the defense wants is for the judge to allow Murdaugh to wear street clothes and remain unshackled during his retrial.
Jurors, potential jurors are watching this right now. It's going to be, wherever this goes, it's going to be difficult to get a jury. And to the extent that parading him around in a jumpsuit shackled like an animal impacts their view, it's going to make it more difficult for us to get a jury.
The defense is also requesting a change of venue and ask that Murdaugh have access to a laptop in prison so he can review evidence. Prosecutors say they're discussing a potential change of venue with the defense, but they don't want Murdaugh to have his laptop.
An individual who was caught receiving contraband that was passed from a family member to prove the defense to him. Oh my God. And so this is not a guy who is, and this is also a guy who's been convicted of over a decade of fraud.
And it's the motion Judge McCaslin made a hard ruling on today.
I'm not going to allow him to have a laptop computer in his It's for safety reasons. That's out of my control. I think it's not only for the safety of the others at the institution, but probably, Mr. Murdoch, for your own safety.
Lastly, the defense made a request to use advanced DNA technology that they say wasn't available 5 years ago.
This genetic genealogy was just on the ground floor. In 2026, we are light years ahead. And so what we're asking for didn't really exist in 2021.
Prosecutors say new DNA analysis won't make a difference. The judge says that she'll consider it, but she also had some questions about how long that analysis takes.
If I need to extend it out a couple of weeks, I will, if that's the case. Please do not think that this case is going to be tried a year later, because it's not. We're going forward.
Murdoch will be back in court in August, and that will be for that pretrial hearing. The rest of the pretrial hearings will be based here in Lexington. Now, as part of that scheduling today, they set a trial date for April 5th, 2027. Back to you.
Thanks, Pete.
All right, so that was Pete Cudahy reporting for us here at Fox. We're going to have a live report with him where he'll be able to answer your questions in real time in just a little while. I want to be really transparent here. We're having a couple of different technical difficulties. We figured it out. We're back to you with the live breaking news, so don't worry. We'll get all into it in just a second. Now, coming up, maybe you guys have been keeping your eyes on everything FIFA World Cup. We sure have been here at Fox 29. We're going to have a live report and see what's happening right now. I can tell you the match that's underway as we speak is getting really, really heated. They were in the first period of extra time, and I hear they're doing their with the kick thing. I'm figuring this out as we go. The penalty kicks. Thank you guys. So we're going to touch base with a reporter who's live right there on the ground when we come back. All right, welcome back to Philadelphia Live, you guys. I've got some really exciting news for you. If you are keeping up with anything FIFA World Cup, or maybe you're a new fan and you're just trying to get in where you can fit in, I just heard that in this Germany match against Paraguay happening right now in Boston, it looks like the biggest upset that we could have ever imagined just happened. And one of our reporters is live right there out on the grounds. I can only imagine that it is absolutely bananas out there. Kaylee Schuyler joins us with Fox News. Kaylee, what are you hearing out there?
Oh my gosh, I wish you would have had me maybe 10 seconds ago, because the cheers are just so loud here outside of the stadium, and they have been really the whole entire match. And this, I think, is really shocking to a lot of fans. I have been talking to Germany and Paraguay fans most of the day, earlier this morning before the match, and Germany was a favorite heading into this match. So this is a huge upset. When I was talking to the Germans, they felt pretty confident that they had this in the bag. And then when I was talking to Paraguay fans, they didn't seem to have really much confidence, and they said they were just happy to be here at this point. So I'm sure we're going to have a lot of fans starting to pour out of the stadium here pretty soon. I think it's going to be a mix of happy and sad fans. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Kaylee, let me ask you this, because when we've had matches here in Philadelphia, like, it is an absolute maze. It's a movie. It's everything you could ever imagine. When something like this happens at Boston Stadium, do they tend to go out into the streets? Are they out partying? Like, where do you think the fans may go after this?
Okay, so with these, it's been kind of different from each fan base. So everyone saw the Scotland fans who had taken over Boston. Yeah, they were partying anywhere and everywhere, hooting and hollering. We haven't had Germany or Paraguay just yet, so I think it's going to be interesting to see. There are around the stadium, there are a lot of bars and restaurants that are kind of connected. There's also some inside the stadium where people can kind of hang out in the concourse. So I think there might be some parties going on out here a little bit later. Of course, people can always head back up to Boston too, and that's been a really great time, kind of where the Fan Fest was downtown, and there's a strip of bars right along the street, and a lot of people have been partying there as well. And of course, the bars have stayed open later now for the World Cup, just so fans can go out and celebrate. So I think we're going to be seeing people all over the place.
And then from you guys out in Boston Stadium to us here at Philadelphia Stadium, I'm hearing that this means that Paraguay will be playing here next, and their opponent could be anybody between France and Sweden. Of course, that match happens tomorrow. I mean, when you were talking, did anybody say who they were hoping the opponent would be?
Okay, so yes, I made sure to ask that question to both Germany and Paraguay fans, and actually it was kind of funny. They weren't even acting like Sweden was part of the equation, and they were just kind of talking about France, and they say if that's who they have to face in the next round, that's going to be a really tall task. So it seems like a lot of the fans are just assuming that France is going to win that match tomorrow night, and they're not too excited that they're going to have to face them.
I mean, if we've just learned anything from this match that happened today, like, don't count anybody out. So while you might be thinking Sweden isn't even a factor, you might be surprised.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's something that people were chatting a lot about today too, and I've seen some chatter about it online, is that throughout the World Cup there haven't been many upsets. So I think other than Germany fans today, a lot of people are probably kind of excited about this. It brought some excitement to the game and the match and the tournament. And, you know, we were kind of sitting here guessing, my photographer and I, we thought the game was going to end maybe around 6:30. Well, here we are now, it's 7:30 local time, and people are just now starting to pour out of Boston Stadium.
Oh my goodness. I wish I had like the rest of this hour with you just to see people pour out, and like, because I can only imagine they're going to be on 10.
It's going to be crazy.
I know. I got to see, you know, we can't show the game right here on the stream, but of course I was looking off to the side, and Germany fans were crying in the stands. And then you got to see the Paraguay fans like going bananas because, as you said, they were just happy to be here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's going to be interesting.
No, wait, let
how
me
that
see.
pans out.
Yeah, it's still a little too early for fans to be pouring out. I mean, we have some coming here and there, and of course, oh, wait, I wish, is there any way we can pan over at all? Sorry, we have some there. We can see some fans. They're heading to the train, which is how a lot of people are getting to Boston Stadium from Boston or Providence, Rhode Island. We did see some people dancing. Can you see that stream of people that are starting to walk out now?
Your photographer's zoom is perfect.
Yeah, so a lot of them are heading to the train. Yep. So a lot of them are heading over to the T. But we did see, I did like catch a glimpse of people dancing. Oh, it's going to be chaos out here, Judea.
Kaylee, just you wait. Get ready for it. Please stay safe out there. Do you have more hits after this with other stations?
This is my last one, so the timing is just great for as far as traffic goes. Yeah.
Sounds good. I'm glad you could end it on a positive note with me here for Philadelphia Live.
Exactly.
Again, stay
Exactly.
safe, get home quickly. I can only imagine how traffic is going to be as well. But again, Kaylee, thank you so much for joining us here all the way in Philadelphia. Wow, good
Thank you.
stuff, you guys. So again, with this official win, with Paraguay's win, that means they will be playing either France or Sweden. Of course, that decision is going to have to be made sometime tomorrow. If you guys are interested in catching that particular match, happens at 5 p.m. on Fox. You can stream it on Fox Sports. And then, of course, you can join me here on Philadelphia Live between 7 and 10, and we can recap it all together with the sports team, with our reporters. It'll be a good time. I'm just thinking about how those fans are going to go crazy in Boston, because I told you guys like a couple of weeks ago that the Scottish fans drank Boston out of a house and a home. Like, they actually had to have emergency deliveries of beer back into the bars because that is how much people were celebrating. So in a game like this, I mean, I have a feeling even the Germany fans will still be celebrating too. No, they didn't win, but still, like, for the people who traveled far to come to a different country or to a different state or a different city, I have a feeling it's not going to keep them from still going out, still trying to have a good time and meet new people. And that has been like the highlight of every single FIFA World Cup match. It has been meeting all the different folks that come from all these different countries and seeing that even if there is a language barrier, just how much you have in common. Like, I hate to say this because it sounds so cliche and kind of, you know, dumb, but soccer is really bringing the people together. Again, it doesn't even matter if you speak the same language or not. A cheer is a cheer. A groan is a groan. Dancing to the DJ is a dance to the DJ. Like, it's been a really good time. Okay, we've got a live look out at Boston. Right now, traffic looks decent for a major city, right? But let's check back in, if you don't mind, Steve. Let's check back in here in like 30 minutes and see just how stuff has progressed. We'll bring you guys back out to it live as well. Now, want to get into things that are going on with us here in Philadelphia. As I mentioned, we've got a big match coming up. That'll take place on the 4th of July. Again, it's going to be Paraguay versus either France or Sweden. But maybe you guys have been trying to get out to the FIFA Fan Festival because you don't have tickets, or you just want to meet up with friends. Plus, it's free here in Philadelphia. I'm hearing it's not free in other cities, which is crazy. But if you are interested, there are some schedule changes this week because, let's be honest, it's hot. That heat wave is really shutting down a lot of things, but also changing a lot of things. So we heard that the festival is going to shift its hours this week. The gates will be closed during afternoon World Cup matches Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. So if you want to get out on Tuesday, Thursday, or Friday, you're going to have to go in the evening. We've got the schedule changes right up there for you. Tuesday, 4 p.m. to midnight. Plenty of time to still have fun. Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. Got a full day ahead of you. Thursday, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Much, much shorter day, but you guys, we're hearing it's going to be like high 90s to 100-degree weather, and that's not the feel-like temperature. That is what it's going to be. And then Friday, 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Saturday, noon to the time the game ends. And then Sunday, 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. We got a lot going on here in Philadelphia. I want you guys to stay safe. I want to keep you updated with everything that's going on. That's the latest that I've got there for you. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to switch gears. We've got a huge court case coming up. It's a retrial, actually, for a massive murder case. You've probably heard the name. We'll get into it when we come back. Welcome back to Philadelphia Live. I'm Judea Murray. The name Alex Murdaugh is probably one you've heard or at least seen, maybe in passing. Just in case you are unfamiliar with this particular case, we're going to bring you here. He, at one point in time, was a high-profile lawyer in South Carolina, and then he was a convicted double murder of his wife and his son. And then those convictions were overturned. And so today, for the very first time in a long time, he was back in court. And this is since the South Carolina Supreme Court had actually overturned those double murder convictions and his life sentence. Big deal. One of our reporters was actually in the room when it happened. Pete Cudahy got to hear a little bit of what was going on today. I want to get right over to him. Did the attorneys get what they were asking for, Pete? Because I know there was a lot at play here today.
Hey, Judea. So Alec Murdaugh's attorneys are going to have to wait a little bit longer to get an answer. This was a day where the judge was prioritizing scheduling. However, she still did listen to all four of the defense's motions. She just said she's not going to make a decision on those until the pretrial hearing. Now, that's going to be on August 14th. One thing the defense wants is for the judge to allow Murdaugh to wear street clothes and remain unshackled during his retrial.
Jurors, potential jurors are watching this right now. It's going to be, wherever this goes, it's going to be difficult to get a jury. And to the extent that parading him around in a jumpsuit shackled like an animal impacts their view, it's going to make it more difficult for us to get a jury.
The defense is also requesting a change of venue and ask that Murdaugh have access to a laptop in prison so he can review evidence. Prosecutors say they're discussing a potential change of venue with the defense, but they don't want Murdaugh to have his laptop.
This is an individual who was caught receiving contraband that was passed from a family member through the defense to him, like guys. And so this is not a guy who is, and this is also a guy who's been convicted of over a decade of fraud.
And it's the motion Judge McCaslin made a hard ruling on today.
I'm not going to allow him to have a laptop computer in his cell. It's for safety reasons. That's out of my control. I think it's not only for the safety of the others at the institution, but probably, Mr. Murdaugh, for your own safety.
Lastly, the defense made a request to use advanced DNA technology that they say wasn't available 5 years ago.
This genetic genealogy was just on the ground floor. In 2026, we are light years ahead. And so what we're asking for didn't really exist in 2021.
Prosecutors say new DNA analysis won't make a difference. The judge says that she'll consider it, but she also had some questions about how long that analysis takes.
If I need to extend it out a couple of weeks, I will, if that's the case. Please do not think that this case is going to be tried a year later, because it's not. We're going forward.
Despite the request to change venue, it will stay here in Lexington for the pretrial hearing. So Alec Murdaugh will be back here in Lexington in August. Now, as a part of all of the scheduling that happened today, they did set a trial date. That's for April 5th, 2027. Back to you, Judea.
Pete, I have a couple of questions for you while I have you. For those who do recognize this case, can we just take a step back in how we even got to this retrial? Why was the original double conviction overturned?
Yeah, so it had to do with Alec Murdaugh's attorneys having an issue with one of the court clerks, Becky Hill, who came out and she wrote a book about everything that happened. And basically they said that she didn't allow the trial to be fair. So they went to the state Supreme Court, and the South Carolina Supreme Court reversed that ruling.
You know, another question that I have, I understand why they want the new venue, why they're afraid that they may not get like a jury that hasn't heard of him before or hasn't seen the stuff on social media. And I'm just assuming the judge didn't really care for that or thinks that it is still possible to get a complete set of unbiased jurors.
Well, it definitely is still possible for them to change venue. What both sides have agreed on so far is that for the pretrial hearings, they're going to stay here in Lexington. Now, moving forward for the actual trial, both the defense and the prosecution said that they're working to find a place that works for both of them. So it's very possible that this happens in a different venue.
Okay, thank you for making that distinction for me. I don't think I picked up on that the first time around, and maybe the audience didn't either. Did anything surprise you about what came out today? Like sitting in there, being the reporter, the journalist, and just taking everything in. Did anything surprise you?
I would say the biggest surprise, there were a lot of people here this morning, but I mean, they call this case the crime of the century, the case of the century. And while there were a lot of people here this morning, the courtroom wasn't completely full. I was expecting people to have to be turned away, or there to have to be, you know, like another room to allow members of the public to see the trial. But no, the room wasn't full, so I'm expecting as we move forward and as we get to that next pretrial hearing that more and more people will be coming to see what's happening.
And were you aware if any of his like extended family members had come out this time around, or you're not quite sure who was in attendance?
So interestingly enough, we did not notice any of his extended family members. So Buster is his son. Outside of that, I'm not too familiar with any of the other extended family, but we do know that Buster was not there.
Okay. Thank you for walking us through all of this. Again, it's one of those things where either you have heard about it, you've got all the news and all the details, or maybe you haven't heard about this at all and it piques your interest. So thank you for giving our audience here in Philadelphia just a taste of what's going on out there in South Carolina. I'm sure no matter what, there are going to be a lot of eyes on this come August and for sure come April. So thank you. All right, you guys, we are going to move right along, getting you into some of the top news of the day, things that are happening right here in Philadelphia. It's going to be what's trending. It's going to be what you guys are scrolling through, reading about, watching videos on, and we'll be talking about it with Jake Leonard from our digital team right after this break. All right, welcome back into Philadelphia Live. I'm Judea Murray. Had to bring up Jake Leonard.
Hey, happy Monday.
Hey, happy Monday to you too. There's so much craziness going on.
Yes, there's a lot to discuss.
Yeah, the digital team has been going crazy, just trying to get all the articles up, get you guys updated on social media. And so, I mean, let's get right into it. I started with this insane explosion.
Yes.
And Sky Fox flew over it.
Yes, the video, it's wow. I said when I'm literally editing a social post to go along with this as we speak.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So you guys will be able to comment on this in just a little while. But like, as Sky Fox zooms in, it literally looks like there's just powder sprinkled on the ground.
Yes.
And the only way you would ever know that this was a home would be looking at remnants like that. A tank, a truck that's nearby on the road, maybe a couple of like 2x4s, stuff like that. Officials got right out to this scene. Again, they're saying that it was an explosion. This all taking place in the Hilltown Township area. One neighbor got to speak to Fox 29's Chris O'Connell and says that they were having work done in the kitchen when this particular explosion happened. It's not quite clear what exactly caused it. Another neighbor told us that he was actually in his car when it happened, and it's just crazy to think that not so many individuals were hurt during this when you see the scene and that the house is just decimated.
Yes.
We only heard one person so far this day, one person being injured in all of this.
Yes, and the neighbor who was speaking to Chris O'Connell was like, literally, I feel like I'm gonna have to get a lottery ticket. Like, I feel so lucky to be alive. He actually was like, I can't, because Chris was like, oh, like, what did you think when this was going on? He's like, I can't repeat what I was thinking on air. And I was like, valid. It was so, it was so scary. And it really was like, like you said, the people were away, you know, there was someone doing maintenance, and then all of a sudden, like, boom. Yeah, like, no one could have predicted. Yes, no one could have predicted it. Luckily, you know, it's good that the people were away, so no one in their family was injured. Definitely thinking, my thoughts and prayers are out to the worker who is in the hospital.
Yeah. Okay, so the one person that was injured was the worker, the contractor themselves, which makes sense because they were in the kitchen. But thank you for confirming that for us. So that's one of the big stories. Again, you're working on putting that on social media, so
very
you guys
soon you'll be able to see the whole piece.
And let us know your thoughts, you know, especially if you want to weigh in on the family that would be staying there and now has to figure out what they're gonna do.
Yes.
So my prayers are with them as well. Another big story that we wanted to get into, this vandalism. They're calling it a crime spree.
Yes.
And it's a young person that they're saying was carrying all this out. A 19-year-old facing multiple criminal charges after allegedly smashing the windows of nearly 20 different vehicles. They also say that this person set 2 of those vehicles on fire. It was during a late night quote-unquote crime spree. Again, they have identified this guy as Aiden Logrande. He's been charged with 2 counts of arson, possession of a weapon for an unlawful purpose, and multiple counts of criminal mischief. I didn't even know that that was one of the crimes that you could be charged with.
Yes.
But, you know, big thing here, some of the video that we're showing you guys, you can see the smashed in cars. You can see that they had a camera out in the area. And it's just wild to think that somebody could do this, especially the arson part, the accused arson.
Yes. It's pretty wild.
Absolutely. So, I mean, this is another one of those stories that we've got up and available for you on the Free Fox Local app or fox29.com if you guys would like to read a little bit more about this. You can also read what some of the neighbors, some of the people who know the story the best were able to tell our reporters when we got out there and reported on it.
Definitely look out for that.
Crazy
It's a really interesting story,
Now, this last one, Jake, I think is going to knock your socks off.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, you know the viral song, it's Young Miami song.
Right.
It's like, where am I scamming?
Yes.
I can't say the rest.
Yes.
Okay.
We know and we love it.
We do, but some people have taken it way too seriously. So, apparently out in Seattle, in Washington, there's a mom and a daughter duo. And according to police, these are accusations. They say that they, went to the mall, went to the store, and they were boosting, scamming, just like the song says. And then after they, went home with all the different things they bought, including some designer bags, according to the police, they posted a video to TikTok using the song Spend That, with lyrics that are all about stealing, boosting, scamming, and that's how they were caught.
Right.
That's how the officials found them.
I feel like, that's happening more and more. We have these people committing crimes, doing things they shouldn't be, and then they're almost bragging about it on social media, and it's like, well, what do you
expect?
Yeah.
But also, you know, I'm not saying this to say don't talk about your crimes. Like,
Right.
please continue talking about your crimes because you need to get caught.
Right, we want you to get caught.
We want you to get caught. Fox 13 Seattle put this video out on their Facebook page. It has already gone viral. Take a listen.
Yes.
Made to Young Miami's viral song Spin Dat about boosting and scamming. Bellevue police say this video shows Janice Wiley holding 2 stolen Louis Vuitton purses. It was posted 5 days after detectives say her daughter, Janice Downs, and an unidentified suspect stole the bags worth more than $7,000 from Nordstrom in downtown Seattle. And 2 days after Downs showed the purses on her Instagram account.
For us, she's a prolific, organized career theft criminal, and so we're very familiar with her.
That's because Bellevue...
Okay, that last part though, while they show the mom and daughter, that last part is what makes this even crazier because the official says they're very familiar with them and their game. So why then, why? We've got comments in our TikTok live stream chat. Brenda said, Lord have mercy, they were boosting, but they know better. However, the video they posted did them in.
Right.
It's true.
Right,
It's
yeah.
true.
I mean, I don't know. Like you were saying, obviously, I'm glad that these criminals are getting caught for what they're doing, but I just don't understand the logic. Like, why are you posting it? Like, someone's gonna see it. Yeah.
For bragging rights.
Right.
So, yeah. Oh goodness. That's the song is really catchy and all that stuff. I get
Now
it.
it's gonna be stuck in my head for the rest of the night.
Sorry, it's always stuck in my head. I'm sitting there at work while I'm typing the news for you guys. Like, spin that. Spin that. Jake, thank you for coming up here with me while we talked about some of the trending topics. But real quick, we've got about a minute. Do we have time for a question of the night?
Yeah. Shall I pull it up?
Okay, yes.
Okay.
You're taking a live look out at the airport. And while we do that, that's because we are turning some things over for you all. I heard that there was a family, a mom on a plane. She says that she has 2 kids under 2. And, you know, what do you do when you've got 2 kids under 2? You've got to take care of them. And if you don't have the assistance, you've got to do it, like, no matter what. So this mom says that one of the kids had a blowout on the plane. This is before the plane takes off. And because she has 2 kids, there's not a lot of room in those bathrooms.
Right.
She started changing the diaper right out there and open in her seat. Was she wrong for that? What do y'all think? Would you do it? If you had been in this situation, would you do it?
It's very, very interesting thing to consider. So, you know, we ran a poll, Fox29/GoVote, always under the Fox Local tab, asking the people, is it acceptable to change a baby's blowout diaper at an airplane seat? So very specific, but 52% of the viewers say yes, you know, you're gonna do what you have to do. 44% say no, you know, it's unfair. Oh, just changed a little bit. No, unfair to others. 3%, you know, leave a comment. A lot of people are saying try to go to the bathroom, but if it's an emergency, you know, you got to help your kid out. And some people are bringing up, you know, it's your seat, like you paid for it, as long as you're not like, you know, spilling over until another seat, like, you know, it is kind
Keep
of
it
your
contained
space.
within your little row.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I can't say too much because a mom and a dad, they've got to do what they've got to do, right?
Exactly.
But in the same breath, those windows don't roll down. And the plane didn't even take off yet. We've got like 2 hours.
Look at what Brenda just said, girl. I don't want to smell all that. Exactly.
Me either.
Exactly.
But then again, what is the difference between you changing your baby's blowout diaper in your seat versus someone who took a dump in the back of the plane?
Right.
And, you know, at some point the door's got to open, so everybody will smell that too.
Right. Something to consider.
Yeah. Guys, keep voting. Jake, where can they go if they want to weigh in?
So the poll itself, fox29.com/GoVote under Fox Local tab. But if you want to, you know, leave a comment, get your voice in this conversation, you can find it on Instagram, Facebook, X. You can even type in our TikTok chat and let us know what you think.
Yeah, you can be like Brenda. Everybody should be like Brenda. 100%. Hey, guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, got a lot more big news for you all. Literally, the stories that you're about to hear are going to blow your mind. We'll be right back. Hey guys, welcome back into Philadelphia Live. We had a really crappy conversation that we just came out of. Some of you guys are still weighing in with us. We were talking about this mom who was on a plane, baby had a blowout, what do? So she says, well, I'm gonna change my baby's diaper. She was on the plane with under two, and those bathrooms, keep in mind, are very small. How are you gonna keep one from rolling around and dipping their hand in the toilet while the other one is getting changed? Plus, if I'm not mistaken, in those bathrooms, I don't think they have one of those boards that flip out for you to change them on. It's not like being in a family restroom. So, she did what she had to do. We were asking you guys how you felt and brought up the point, those windows don't open. And this was before the plane took off. So y'all are smelling that the whole trip. Brenda said, yeah, those windows don't open. We are trapped. Whew, okay. Let's get that out of our heads, move on with more news of the day. I'm seeing that the House, our lawmakers, are still out on the floor right now as we speak. I want to let you guys listen in to where they're at. Okay, hold on. It looks like the sound for some reason isn't coming through. But maybe we'll be able to try to get it hooked up a little later on, and then again bring you out there live so you guys can take a listen. So unfortunately, since this is live, I'm not exactly sure what they're. Oh,
but the
sounds
way
like
she
we've
has
got it.
invested in others.
Let's go ahead and take over.
Through her leadership with the University of Alabama's Blackburn Institute, she has mentored countless young leaders, generously sharing her wisdom, encouragement, and belief in the next generation. Those who know Gina know her greatest joy has always been found in her family. The relationship she has built throughout her life and her signature sense of style notably shone through her shoes. Whether as a mentor, colleague, wife, grandmother, or friend, she is led with grace, humility, and a servant's heart. I congratulate Gina on an extraordinary career, thank her for her countless lives she has touched, and wish her and her husband Mike every blessing in the years ahead. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to congratulate Dr. Sandra Freihofer on becoming President-elect of the American Medical Association. Dr. Freihofer is an Atlanta-based internal medicine physician who has previously served in numerous roles in the AMA and has worked tirelessly to advance the roles of both patients and physicians. Following a vote by physicians and medical students at the AMA annual meeting, Dr. Freihofer garnered the support to begin her year-long term starting in June of 2027. Dr. Freihofer spent numerous years as the AMA's liaison to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices. She contributed greatly to the development of vaccines protecting against COVID-19, influenza, HPV, and many others. Aside from the AMA, Dr. Freihofer served as president of the American College of Physicians. When she was elected in 2000, she became the youngest person and the second woman to have served in the role. I wish her the best of luck and sincere congratulations as she begins her role. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to honor the life and the legacy of my friend, Martha Zoller, whose voice and service to Georgia will be deeply missed. For more than 3 decades, Martha informed, challenged, and connected Georgians as a broadcaster, a columnist, author, and a political commentator. She earned the respect of listeners across our state through analytical, honest conversation and an abiding love for Georgia and our country. I had the privilege of joining Martha on her radio show many times over the years. Our conversations were always thoughtful, candid, and rooted in our shared commitment to serving the people of Georgia. She had a remarkable ability to ask the right questions and to listen carefully, offering valuable insights to listeners. Martha embodied the gold standard of professionalism, always acting quickly to offer her support as a mentor to countless people in politics and journalism. My prayers are with Martha's family, her friends, her colleagues, and the countless listeners whose lives she touched. Her legacy will live on through them. May God lift them up in His arms and help them find comfort in this challenging time. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to recognize Josh Brooks, who has been the athletic director at the University of Georgia since 2021. He recently received a contract extension after back-to-back Southeastern Conference championships in football and national championships in women's tennis, women's track, and equestrian. During his time as athletics director, the Bulldogs have earned 9 team national championships, 14 SEC crowns, and 33 individual national titles across 21 sports. Many facility upgrades were under his management and supervision, including the new Lindsey Hopkins indoor tennis courts, improvements to the south side of Sanford Stadium, a new men's and women's basketball weight room, and more. He demonstrates leadership as an active member on the SEC Executive Committee and as vice chair of the NCAA Football Oversight Committee and chair of the NCAA Football Practice and Playing Seasons Committee. Brooks' extended contract will allow him to continue making momentous milestones for the University of Georgia. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to honor the life of Mr. Lawrence Cohen Larry Walker, Jr., who passed away on June 9th at the age of 84. Mr. Walker was a lifelong resident of Perry, Georgia. He graduated from Perry High School in 1960 and attended the University of Georgia, where he earned a bachelor's in business administration and a Juris Doctorate. In 1966, Mr. Walker was appointed Perry's first municipal court judge, and later as the city attorney, a role he held for 40 years. Larry was elected to the Georgia State House of Representatives, where he served for 32 years and became majority leader. While in the state legislature, Mr. Walker played a key role in bringing Frito-Lays and the Georgia National Fairgrounds to Perry, Georgia. After his time in the State House, Larry was elected to Georgia Transportation Board and appointed by Governor Sonny Perdue to the University System of Georgia Board of Regents. Our thoughts and prayers are with Mr. Walker's family as they mourn his loss.
All right, you guys, so we have been listening into Representative Buddy Carter from Georgia. He represents Georgia's 1st District, talking about some of the people that he hopes to be recognized right there on the House floor. Typically, this does happen later at night when each of the representatives come up. Maybe they'll talk about somebody who's doing something incredible in their area. Sometimes they'll also talk about someone who has passed on, who they want to recognize across the state and across the nation. So that's what was happening that you guys were just listening in on. Again, he is Georgia Representative Buddy Carter. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, I heard that there was an insane accident that happened. They're saying that a motorcyclist was killed during it. And to make matters worse, they're calling it a hit and run. We'll get into it when we come back.
To that hotel.
Welcome back to Philadelphia Live. I was mentioning before that we're getting some new information about this deadly hit and run. Police are hoping that someone out there, maybe even one of you who are watching right now, can help them figure out who the person is who did this, that driver is. Who are they? Where are they? And how quickly can they be taken into custody? One of our reporters, Alex George, got out to the scene to try to figure out what she knows. Alex, can you lay on us the latest details that you've gotten in the case?
Absolutely, Judea. So here's what happened. Near Kelly Drive and Reservoir Drive, a young Temple student, just 20 years old, was riding his motorcycle. That's when police say a driver of an unknown vehicle attempted to make an illegal turn and then decided to continue on their pathway, striking Bryce Wolf. Now, Bryce succumbed to his injuries at the hospital later, and we talked to his family today, and they are desperate to find out who was responsible for this tragedy. And they told us that, like I said, he was 20 years old. He was studying actuary science at Temple. He was actually staying in Philadelphia for the summer to complete an internship. And he was an avid motorcycle rider. He'd been riding since he was 16 years old. He was even certified with the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania as a motorcycle instructor, teaching others how to ride their motorcycles safely. And as far as what the family knows from police, he was following all the rules of the road when this driver attempted to make that illegal turn. Now, what we also know, Judea, and this is difficult to hear, is that after the impact of Bryce and this unknown vehicle, his body shattered the window of the driver's side and then was trapped underneath the vehicle, where the driver continued to drive for over a mile with Bryce's body underneath the vehicle. And Bryce was still somehow conscious and speaking when they took him to the hospital, and as I said, he later succumbed to those injuries. But a gruesome hit and run in which the driver just left the scene, and as they said in the police report, did not aid at all, left the scene. So the family, as you can imagine, is absolutely devastated. They were a family of 5. Now they say they can't even fathom being a family of 4. He leaves behind 2 brothers, one of whom with special needs, who he often volunteered with, playing games and sports in their hometown. So they are just absolutely devastated.
Alex, every detail that you have given us got worse and worse and worse, but it makes me, like, my heart go out to this family. And I know that they talked to you and maybe some other people from the media, and I don't understand how they're able to, but can you just walk me through the headspace that it kind of seems that they're in, the emotions that are running through them?
I mean, I think to say that they're devastated would be an understatement. When you talk to a family who has been through a tragedy like this, it's pretty hard to even verbalize what they're feeling, because it's something I can only empathize with. And all I can tell you is that their world has absolutely been turned upside down. This is one of their beloved children, and they said he was the life of the party and a mentor to the other brothers in the family. So like I said, they're absolutely devastated.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine. With officials wanting us to maybe help them point out who may have done this, I'm assuming the details that we may have on a potential suspect, on the make, model, car, all of that stuff, may not have it. So what should we go off on? Maybe just the time and the date?
What we do know is that the vehicle was most likely an SUV, and police say it may have been white, but they're also looking for a vehicle that has damage consistent with damage on the driver's side. So that window that I mentioned, driver's side damage potentially towards the wheel. What we do know is that this was not head-on contact. They believe that the driver and the motorcycle met sort of on the driver's side. So any vehicle with damage to the driver's side window, driver's side tire, and we'll have more details on exactly what to look for in the web story on fox29.com, but those are the only details that police know of right now. So they're asking anybody who has seen a vehicle that matches that, or if someone brings a vehicle to a body shop for repairs that matches that, to please reach out to police.
Thank you for bringing us the latest. I hope my audience does exactly that. If they know they've got more information, please help out, because I mean, this family, they just need the closure at this point. That's point blank. Again, Alex, thank you so much for bringing us what you could. We'll see you a little later on in the 10 o'clock news. When I think about stuff like that, I'm thinking about motorcyclists. I mean, myself, I'm afraid to ride them, but I know a lot of people who love them, and every time they get on them, I think about stuff like this, where I don't know if it was a driver that maybe wasn't paying attention, or we don't know the situation that happened there, but it is one of those things that just makes you think again about how scary that can be. And for him being so young too, and for her to say that he was still alive, conscious, and speaking as this driver didn't stop. I hope that the officials get the answers that they're looking for soon, and I hope that family can have some closure. Again, if you guys know anything at all, you're asked to contact the Philadelphia Police Department. You can also text an anonymous tip. We'll have the number that you can do that at on the free Fox Local app. You can also go to fox29.com and get more information on how you can report anything you may know. You guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break, take a breather. We're going to come back with some more big news for you. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back into Philadelphia Live. I'm Judea Murray. I want to give you a live look out in Washington, D.C. The sun is setting and it looks absolutely beautiful. You're going to be taking a live look out at, oh no, I see why we haven't gone to it yet. Our camera has just shifted, but it was showing you a live look at the Great American State Fair. We'll see if that gets put back up or not, but I can walk you through what's happening out there. So in Washington, D.C., President Donald Trump has put together this slew of festivals, events. It's going to be like a really big thing, and it's been going on for a couple of days now. Anybody can go out, have a good time. There are rides, there's food, there are activities, there's opportunities for you to learn more about America's history. And then on top of that, they have business owners from, well, it should be every single state of the United States of America and each of the territories. But we do know quite a few states have opted out of sending anyone, including us here in Pennsylvania. Governor Josh Shapiro was talking about it. He said that, well, he went through the right methods to try to get somebody out there. He says that it just so happens that none of the business owners here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania wanted to go. That's what he says. He's put it out on his X account. He's also talked about it and released statements on his decision not to send anyone. But there, of course, are some other states as well who have opted out of sending people too, including Massachusetts. Now, hundreds and thousands of people are expected to come out to Washington, D.C. just as attendees of this particular event. We also heard that they are beefing up security for it. So there are, in addition to all of those attendees, there's supposed to be thousands of law enforcement workers, agents, and even 5,000 National Guard troops, along with some military-style vehicles and other hardware. that are supposed to come out there. They're supposed to patrol. They're supposed to make sure that this is a safe, family-friendly event. So as you all can imagine, and as you all know from a recent event, that UFC fight that was taking place right on the back side of the White House, which you're taking a live look at right now, when they had that event, there was some plot to take out as many people as possible and maybe even rush the White House. And so, of course, officials are being very keen to this, making sure that nothing goes awry. This is supposed to be a celebration of America's 250th birthday. President Donald Trump says that he wants it to go off without a hitch. So far, we've seen quite a few people get out there and enjoy themselves. One thing that I think is very interesting, I've been seeing across multiple news organizations, people speaking to the press, and there was this well, at this point in time, I can call it a misconception that these events would be overly politicized or overly political. And I'm seeing from multiple different news agencies, both conservative, liberal, and somewhere down in the middle, that people have been saying they've been having a very clean, non-political, apolitical time out there, that neither one side or the other has been shoved down their throats while they're bringing their families, their kids out there to just enjoy themselves. So I think that has turned out to be a shock to some attendees. But again, that's what I'm seeing, that's what I'm hearing. Now, if you wanted to get out there, you still got plenty of time. They say the largest crowd is going to be July 4th, which of course, I hope that you spend your July 4th here in the city of Philadelphia, though. But if you wanted to get out to Washington, D.C., again, they say there's food, there's fun, there's education, there's a kids zone in case you want to bring out the kids. There's also going to be fireworks shows that take place. Only thing is you've got to bring your ID. There may be long lines depending on which day you go. It's going to be close to the way you travel through the airport. So think about air travel security. There are also going to be some snipers that are deployed at certain events. So again, they say they want this to be as safe as possible, and I'm hearing that these are the different ways that they are trying to make sure that that happens. You guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, I've got even more news to turn your way. We'll get right back into things that are happening closer to home when we come back. Welcome back into Philadelphia Live. I'm Janae Murray. Had to bring up Jake
Hey.
Leonard.
I'm
Hey. The people want to hear about trending topics, what's going on, and I'm interested too to see what they are talking about. Before we get into it though, one thing they're talking about right now is the heat.
Yes.
Someone says it's going to be 108 degrees. Now, I
Yeah,
don't know if it's going to be that hot, but it's going to be hot for sure.
It's going to be scorcher.
We're seeing 104 on Thursday and Friday. At least that's what it looks like right now from our storm team. But we still have time to check in with them too.
Yeah.
To see if anything has changed.
We'll see what they have to say, but it's definitely going to be hot. Definitely drink lots of water. Put on sunscreen. Yeah, like let's be prepared.
Especially if you want to get out to any of the different events that are going on. FIFA World Cup. Of course,
So much
take
is
place
going on.
here.
Yes.
Yeah, Fan Fest. They've even changed the times.
Yes.
You want to get out to the parade. We just learned they changed those.
Yes.
That route as well. It's going to be a lot shorter. We'll get into all the things that are changing with the weather and the heat in just a second. But if you have other questions, please go ahead and throw them in, or even commentary on the weather, because I'll read them in real time like for you guys. All right, trending. What's going on out there?
So the first thing I'm going to talk about is actually something that's trending within our newsroom today.
Okay.
I have some very, very exciting news that I'm excited to share with all of you guys. Jen Lee, you know her, you love her.
Yeah, she's usually here.
Yes, she's on maternity leave. She had her baby. Look, a beautiful, beautiful baby boy. Yes. I know. That's her and her husband and the baby. Yes.
The baby is so beautiful.
The baby. I'm so happy for her.
Yeah, we held like an impromptu kind of baby shower for her here at Fox 29. The decorations were so cute.
So
shout
cute.
out to Megan, shout out to Jody, and anyone else who
Yes.
helped put them together, because they really made the little section where we do our morning meetings and stuff. They
Yes.
made it look adorable for her.
Yes.
But oh my
Yes.
gosh.
So happy for her. You know, we have another member of the Fox 29 family.
we got a little
so
fox.
yes.
Out of curiosity, has she publicized his name yet? I know a lot of people don't, so I want to, respect it if she
Not
has
that I know of.
Okay.
Not that I know of.
I probably wouldn't either. But
So-
Jen, your baby is beautiful.
I know.
Wow.
So happy for her. Congratulations, Jen. We miss you here, but I really hope you're enjoying your time with this precious baby boy.
Yeah. Brenda from TikTok says, congratulations, Jen Lee. So we all are showing our excitement and whatnot for you.
Yes.
What else you got for us?
Okay.
You started off strong.
Yes, I know. It's hard to beat that. I'm going to make a very sharp transition, okay?
Okay.
So I'm kind of sensing a theme with, kind of goes with the question to what I'm about to talk
the
about.
blowouts?
Yes.
Okay, and not this kind of blowout.
Yes. So, okay. Friday, Noah Khan
Okay.
performed in Philly, and it was like a huge show. I know so many people went. So many people were posting about it. He put on a great performance. He would put out some sort of like Instagram post or something where he basically was like, "I've never felt like this alive on stage. Philly, I love you." Yada yada yada. Whatever.
Philly, okay.
But there is something that a lot of other people are talking about it. I'm not gonna show the video for many reasons, but there's a video going around online right now. The Pit. I guess someone really had to go to the bathroom and didn't want to give up their spot, so they just went on the floor. And so he addressed it. That's what you're seeing right now on his X, and he basically said, "Don't do that." So the tweet, if you can't see it, it says, "If you have to poop at a show, please, dear God, just go to the bathroom. LMAO, I've pooped my pants as much as the next 29-year-old, but you guys gotta understand that there's a venue worker out there with a 1,000-yard stare after dealing with that." So he kind of goes back and forth in the comments a little bit. I can't show this tweet because there is a curse in it, but basically he admits that he himself went on stage in Charlottesville, but he said that's because he's so dedicated to his craft.
Well, maybe they're really dedicated to the craft of being an audience member.
Yes.
You don't know Noah.
So yeah, it's a pretty wild story, but it's even wilder because this has seemed to be kind of a conversation in pop culture recently. Olivia Rodrigo did an interview not too long ago. I forget what publication it was, but you know, they were kind of asking her about her experience performing, and you know, like, has she ever seen anything weird? Has she ever experienced anything weird? And she basically said sometimes the people in the front row, there's a smell.
Ew.
And
I'm done.
I'm
Ew.
performing and I smell it, and it's really hard not to get distracted because there is, I don't want to call it a trend because people have been like doing it for a while, but sometimes when people go to like a concert or like a festival or like a sporting event and they like wait in line all day or whatever, and they
You're
don't
like, I need these spots.
yeah, they don't
want to
leave.
for this spot.
They wear like adult diapers.
They do it in New York.
Yeah, yes,
to watch the
yes.
ball drop.
That's a great example.
Yeah.
So yeah, just a lot of, but it's interesting that it's been kind of making headlines in a few different ways in the past couple weeks.
You know how funky you have to be for your stench to make it its way onto the stage? Because I mean, I know Beyonce has fans, so I'm assuming that everybody else is a fan on stage for them. For you to get past that,
I know.
That's rough.
I know. So we're telling you this as a cautionary tale. You know, if you're ever at a concert, whatever, you might have a good seat, but it's never worth it. If you really have to go that bad, just go to the bathroom. Don't torture yourself. And as
the people around you.
As Noah Khan said, there's a venue worker. I think he performed at Citizens Bank Park. So there's a Citizens Bank Park worker out there who clocked out that night and was just like,
I cleaned up someone else's bowel movement.
Yes.
A grown person's bowel movement.
Yes.
Nasty. Okay, I'm sorry, but there is a lot more poop talk that we have to get to. I apologize, y'all. It just so happens that people are just, doing this in public.
Right.
Question of the night is regarding whether or not you would change a baby's diaper on an airplane.
Right.
Okay.
So walk me through that.
Yes, we'll unpack it because there is an actual reason I'm asking this. There was this woman, a mother, who posted this video on social media. She has 2 kids under 2 years old.
Okay, 2 under 2.
Long story short, one of them had a blowout on the plane, and she says, well, the bathrooms, they're too small on an airplane. They were about to take off, so obviously you can't get out of your seat.
Can't go to the bathroom.
No. So she changes the baby right there in her aisle.
Right.
In her row. People were complaining because they're like, oh, this is so gross. Like, how can you not think about other people?
Right.
But then some people are like, hey, mom's got to do what a mom's got to do.
Right.
So we asked you all. Yes. You're taking a look at our Go vote, and the question is it acceptable to change a baby's blowout diaper at an airplane seat?
Yes.
What do people say?
Yeah, so actually, since we talked about this the first time, we have gotten so many more comments on socials. Like, people really have a lot of thoughts. So Loretta, so true. She said, well, airplane restrooms barely have room for an adult, and there's no changing table in them either.
That's true.
Yeah.
There's no flip down table.
Denise said the poor baby can't help it. Have compassion. Bonnie says absolutely not. Jane just said, ew, no, go to the bathroom. Like, so people are, back and forth as, I feel like we always start conversations like this. I like that we have people on both sides, giving arguments. So, and this is just one of them. People are really like divided.
Yeah, I mean, you can see just based on the 54% versus 43%.
It's pretty close.
And this also is one of those topics where I can see both sides.
I definitely can see both sides. And again, it's hard for us to discuss this because, neither of us are parents. Nope. We have no idea what it's like. But I mean, I know when I'm on a flight and there's a newborn that might be crying, of course it's annoying. But I do feel compassion and I feel bad for the mom. So, it's not her fault. It's not the baby's fault either. It's a baby's a baby. So kind of, I feel like I would feel somewhat similar in this, unless maybe I was like right next to the baby, then I might have some other thoughts. But
I mean, yeah. I think about it too, like I said before, the windows don't open.
Right.
The plane hasn't even taken off yet in this particular case, so we're going to smell that for the rest of the trip.
It's going to be a long flight.
I hope it wasn't an international flight. Jake, thank you so much for weighing in with us, having some fun with us here. We'll check back in with you a little later on just to see if anything else is heating up on the internet. You guys, we got a lot more to talk about. I promise this whole show isn't just about poop. But, ooh, wait. We do have some comments coming on in. Jimmy just says, excuse me? I think we offended him. And then Brenda says, oh, this is in relation to me bringing up sometimes people, when they watch the ball drop in New York, a lot of them do wear diapers. She says, yes, I've done that in Times Square on New Year's Eve before, but just no. Brenda, wait, are you telling me that you have worn a diaper and you've had to use that diaper? Or are you just saying that you've been and you... Let me know. I'm not judging you, I promise. All right, you guys, again, more news coming your way. There is a senator out in Delaware who recently, like as of this weekend, was involved in a car crash. He was injured. But I'm also hearing that it's not stopping him from doing his job. We'll get into it when we come back. All right, welcome back to Philadelphia Live. A lot of news to get into, so you guys, let's get right on into it. I'm hearing that there's a Delaware senator, Chris Coons, you probably know him. He may be your senator. Over this weekend, he was injured in a multiple vehicle car crash. That's according to officials. They say that this took place and he was taken to the hospital. He was treated for what they called minor injuries to this car crash. It happened just yesterday. They put out a statement, his office, saying that he was transported to the hospital, again, treated for those minor injuries. But they say he's now home and expected to make a full and swift recovery. Now, they haven't said exactly how he was injured, as in they haven't said what body part or, just how bad or not so bad it was. They haven't really given us many details on that. But again, they're saying that he is going to make a full and swift recovery. They say he's deeply grateful to the first responders for how they reacted quickly, professionally, and really just got him out of a horrible situation. And he says that he feels relieved and blessed that by all accounts, and I quote, no one was seriously injured during the crash. So now, in addition to that, where we heard about him being involved in that crash just yesterday, today he was already releasing a statement to President Donald Trump, and he talked about the Supreme Court's decision in the Trump v. Slaughter and Trump v. Cook cases. So we've got this statement up for you here. I want to read it all to you all. Keep in mind, this is a man who was just hit by a car. The president is not meant to be a dictator or a king, but this Supreme Court continues to give President Trump unchecked power. He goes on to say, today's decision will bring the kind of leadership chaos we've seen at the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Justice, and the Office of the Director of National Intelligence to agencies that protect workers, keep our economy on track, and regulate our internet and our elections. Now, President Trump can remove the heads of those agencies if they make a decision he dislikes, even when it is best for our nation. It could leave Americans who are already struggling with more expensive internet, fewer consumer protections, and more dangerous workplaces. That statement goes on to say, let's go ahead and while in the context of Slaughter, the decision is baffling. I'm glad the court found a way to limit the scope of this opinion when it comes to the Federal Reserve. The independence of the Federal Reserve is part of the foundation of the American economy and a benchmark for the world, and its decision will protect our economy from some of the president's political meddling. I've known Lisa Cook for over 3 decades. She is a brilliant economist dedicated at making the economy stronger for the American people. When President Trump doesn't like our economic numbers, his answer is not to accept responsibility or to enact policies that will make them better. It's just to fire people. I'm glad to see the strategy has been halted there. So again, it seems that even though this happened not too long ago, he still says this is not going to stop me from doing my job and letting my voice be heard. So he released that statement. Wanted to share with you all. Again, this is as we're getting multiple updates on some very big Supreme Court cases and decisions being made out in Washington, D.C. So interesting to see how our lawmakers very close to home are weighing in and reacting to everything that's happening. Speaking of that, can we take a quick live look at the White House? Because I want to set you all up for some discussions that we're hearing coming from the president. So earlier today, he held a press conference. This was to sign some executive orders, but he also took questions from the media at the time. And one of the very first questions happened to be about mail-in ballots. How does he feel about voting? In just a second, I'll talk to you about how Colorado is having their primary election tomorrow. But back to the president, let's listen into what he had to say about the mail-in ballots.
Have any questions?
Mr. President, what do you make of the Supreme Court ruling today in regards to the mail-in ballots, and what comes next for the SAVE Act after today's ruling?
Well, because of the mail-in ballot ruling, which was a little bit surprising, gives people more time to vote illegally, let's say. But the SAVE Act is even more important, and that's the right. You have to be a citizen of our country. Okay, you have to show you're a citizen of our country, called citizenship. Voter ID by photo voter ID, and no mail-in ballots unless you're in the military, disabled, you're ill, or you're away, or even on a vacation. We're being very open about it. It's pretty easy. And we'll have honest elections. But the ruling, which a lot of people were waiting for, that was a ruling that was, I think it was very detrimental to honest elections. But it is what it is. Basically, they're keeping it a little bit the way it is now. They may have a little bit of a restriction on based on the wording.
About firing the parliamentarian.
And then you have the very important one, the Slaughter case, which we'll talk about if you ask that question. But the parliamentarian, what were you asking about?
Yeah, have you talked with Thune about?
I have. No, I can't imagine why you'd keep a woman that was put there by Harry Reid and Barack Hussein Obama. I cannot understand it. The leader has the right to fire the person at will and put somebody else there. That would be, because we get so many negative rulings from her, the parliamentarian. She's been there for years, and she was put there by Harry Reid and Barack Hussein Obama. Harry Reid was a bad guy, and he was the leader, and he put her. And the speaker has the right to immediately fire her and put somebody else there. And it's not even believable that she's still there. She's obviously a good politician or something.
Mr. President, a question on the slaughter case. The Supreme Court just affirmed your right to fire the heads of independent agencies. Should we expect more firings as a result of this ruling?
I don't think so. It gives me the right, and not me, it gives a president the right to do what the president should have the right to do. And it's very interesting. It's a big ruling. It's been going on for almost 100 years. They've been working on this, and you know that it comes down at my term is a very great honor. But it bestows additional powers, or maybe the same power on the president. The president has the right to do this, and that has to do with a lot of agencies all throughout the system. So it's considered, you know, the biggest of the group. And I can understand that this has been going on for almost 100 years. They've been waiting for this decision. Yes?
Thank you, Mr. President. You were posting about how important it is to get the Save America Act passed. Who do you see as the biggest hurdle to getting this across the finish line?
Well, it's held up in the Senate. And frankly, if you terminated the filibuster, you just need 50 votes, and we have 53. And then you have JD. So the Democrats are going to terminate the filibuster. But if you did reconciliation, you could do it with 50 votes. I mean, the best would be to terminate the filibuster, but for some reason, but you have the same basic people. But even Rand Paul is in favor of the Save America Act, if you can believe it. Think of it. Rand Paul is strongly in favor. He's fighting for it. So that's good news. But you would have Lisa Murkowski always against things like this. Nobody knows why. I think I know why. But you have Lisa Murkowski, you have Susan Collins, you have Tillis is against, and he's not in office because of me, so he holds me, you know, because I wouldn't endorse him. I think you have Senator Cassidy against it, too.
I think he supports it this time.
And I think you have Mitch McConnell against it, too. Mitch McConnell,
Are there any
who's very
Democrats
disloyal
who
to
change
John
their mind
Thune.
on it?
You know, John Thune was a very good person for him. I mean, he was a very loyal person, and Mitch McConnell's against him almost all the time because he's angry, I guess, probably at me.
Mr. President?
Yeah.
What about Democrats, Mr. President? Are there any you could think you could change their minds on it?
Democrats should do it too. I mean, you'll probably get one Democrat who's, you know, a common sense Democrat, you know, who that is. And everybody should vote for this. This is the Save America Act. Voter ID with photo, ideally, but voter ID, proof of citizenship, and no mail-in ballots, which is, to my way of thinking, maybe the most important of all because it's so corrupt. But you have exceptions if you're away, exceptions for the military, they're deployed, exception, illness, disability, you have exceptions, strong exceptions. But the cheating on the ballots, the mail-in ballots, Jimmy Carter said it a long time ago. He said you can't have mail-in ballots. He headed up a committee with Scoop Jackson and others, all respected. And he actually, I think it was Jimmy Carter's finest moment, not doing president, but he headed up a committee and he said, he came out with a strong conclusion that if you do mail-in ballots, there's going to be cheating. France gave it up. We're the only country in the world that does this type of mail-in ballot. There's no other country in the world. You know why? They tried it and it was totally dishonest. And it's really dishonest. So we shouldn't do mail-in ballots. So it's not too much to ask for voter ID, proof of citizenship, and no mail-in ballots. And you have honest elections.
What are your plans for the housing bill, Mr. President? Are you
Okay, so the president says he's not asking for too much when it comes to what he wants to do in terms of mail-in ballot voting. Now, there's someone else on the other side of things who says he's absolutely asking for way too much. This is this minority leader, Hakeem Jeffries. Take a listen.
1 year ago, Republicans enacted the One Big Ugly Bill, which was the largest cut to Medicaid in American history, resulting in millions of people on the brink of losing their health care coverage. They ripped nutritional assistance away from hungry children, seniors, and veterans. And all of this was done to reward their billionaire donors with massive tax breaks, and in the process, skyrocketing both the deficit and the debt. In the Republican One Big ugly bill, which gutted Medicaid and enacted the largest cut to nutritional assistance in American history, $186 billion. They also provided tens of billions of dollars in a slush fund to unleash ICE brutality on law-abiding immigrant families and to brutalize and kill American citizens, including Alex Preddy and Renee Nicole Good. Yet Republicans have decided that they're going to spend this week celebrating themselves and patting themselves on the back for gutting Medicaid and nutritional assistance in order to unleash ICE brutality on the American people and give their billionaire donors massive tax breaks that they don't need and do not deserve. It's extraordinary to us, but it's entirely consistent with the approach that Donald Trump has undertaken, which is to make clear to the American people that the Republican worldview is that the affordability crisis is a hoax. They love inflation, and Republicans don't give a damn about the personal financial situation of the American people. So the stakes are very high for everyday Americans, and the path in front of us is very clear. Republicans have failed to drive down the high cost of living. In fact, costs haven't gone up in the United States of America. Costs have not gone down. They've gone up in the United States of America. And life has gotten worse for everyday Americans, working class Americans, and law-abiding, hard-working American families. So House Democrats are going to continue to stay the course and work on the issues that we believe matter to the American people, like driving down the high cost of living, fixing our broken healthcare system, and cleaning up corruption. Questions?
Good afternoon. Thank you. With the election, the prospective election of some of these Democratic socialists in your home city here, how do Democrats in swing districts, battleground districts, how do they inoculate themselves? How do they run compared to some of these messages that those folks on the left are going to run on?
Over the last 18 months, Democrats across the country have won every single meaningful election against Republicans in places like Texas, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Florida, Louisiana, along with, of course, Virginia and New Jersey. We've won races up and down the ballot at all points in between across the country because Democrats are continuing to focus on the issues that matter, like fixing our broken healthcare system, lowering the high cost of living for everyday Americans, because this economy is suffocating people. They are drowning in the Trump economy, can't thrive, and can barely survive. And so as long as Democrats in the House, both our extraordinary frontline incumbents, as well as our red to blue candidates, continue to focus on the local issues that matter, anchored around the economy, the cost of living, and combating Trump Republican inflation, I remain confident, as we've done over the last 18 months, that Democrats will continue to win elections.
Mr. Minority Leader.
Yep, right there.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. Just piggyback on that, though, can you set expectations for tomorrow's races in Colorado, particularly CD1 with Diana DeGetsy? Do you believe she's capable of winning, and what does it say that her race is very close in terms of, this challenge against incumbents by Democratic Socialists?
It's a close race, and we'll see what happens. Ultimately, it'll be in the hands of the people of Denver, but the reality is we have an unsettled electoral environment, which is going to be the case when Donald Trump is president. and he's out of control. The country, under his leadership, is falling apart as it relates to the economy and his extreme assault on the American way of life. And in an environment like that, there are going to be active primary races. In fact, we know that pretty much every cycle, there are active primaries, and a handful of incumbents actually are unable to retain their seats. And I think it's not a surprise that there are highly competitive primaries in deep blue parts of the country that are also unfolding this cycle. And so I think it'll be close.
While he's talking about primaries, that's actually a perfect segue. There's one going on in Colorado tomorrow. We're actually seeing some images coming in from a watch party. We may be able to show that to you just a little bit. This is like a pre-election night party for Julie Gonzalez, who again is running out in Pueblo, Colorado. We may be able to show you that to you later, but still ahead, we've got some big news coming up from our neck of the woods. I'm hearing that there's a situation, they may think that this is evolving into some sort of spree. Whether or not that's true, we'll get that from our Jenny Joyce. We'll be right back. Hey guys, welcome back to Philadelphia Live. I mentioned that we are going to get into some hyper-local stories. Here are things that are happening right around where you may live that may affect you. I'm hearing that there are two very big investigations into two different killings, except officials now believe there may be some sort of common ground there. Let's get out to Jenny Joyce, who tried to get on the scene, figure out as much as she could. Jenny, what are we hearing about this?
Yeah, good evening. So, Judea, there have been three robbery and shootings in Hunting Park, in the same section of the park, over the last month or so. So the first one was May 29th. The last one was just Friday night, again, in Hunting Park. Three different men, 3 different nights. 2 out of the 3 men did not survive. So the first victim on May 29th, police tell us that victim, he was shot 2 times, and he did survive. Initially, he was in critical, and now he's in stable condition. He was able to talk to police and tell them that this person who came up behind him announced a robbery. So police believe that the motive in all 3 cases is robbery. They have released some surveillance photos of the man that they believe is responsible for all 3 shootings, again, including 2 homicides. This man, he was wearing distinct jackets. He has some distinct tattoos, and if you can really get a good look at his face when you're seeing those photos. Police believe that there must be someone out there who knows this person. He immediately took off on the Broad Street line on the subway, and both of the 2 homicides happened between 10 and 11 o'clock at night. So if you happen to be on the subway around that time, between 10 and 11 at night, maybe you recognize this person. Maybe you see him traveling on the Broad Street line often. Police say do not approach him if you see him. He's believed to be armed and dangerous, but they do want to hear from you. You can call the tip line 215-686-TIPS and let police know, because they want this person arrested before he strikes again. Back to you.
Jenny, real quick while I have you, I just want to clarify something because people were asking about the numbers here that we're saying. So just to be clear, there are 3 incidents that they're looking into, 2 of which they believe someone died, right?
That's correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Just wanted to confirm that for our audience. They're asking on TikTok. When will we see you again for a possible update to everything that's going on, where we can see like video and maybe hear some interviews?
Yeah, so we will be on tonight. Our 10 o'clock news will be on after the match. So probably around 11 o'clock, you will see my story on Fox.
Okay. So you guys, that means you can go to either the free Fox local app. You can also go to fox29.com to get that. That'll happen in real time. Again, Jenny, thank you so much for getting us what you could, letting us know what's going on there. I know when both of those things happened, everybody around, we're talking about residents, neighbors, etc., we're all worried, trying to figure out what exactly took place there. So to hear some of the details be fleshed out like that, and then also hear that there may be a connection in between all 3 incidents, especially those 2 that resulted in someone losing their life, I'm sure this is a step forward for the residents, but I know they want to see that suspect or whoever's responsible for the deaths and for these burglaries to be brought to justice. So again, that was the latest from Jennifer Joyce. I appreciate her time here on Philadelphia Live. Meanwhile, we still got a lot of big stuff to get you out to. There is an election event that is happening. It's on ELC3. This is Julie Gonzalez. She's holding a pre-election night rally out in Colorado. This is their primaries. You know, we already had ours here in Pennsylvania about a month and some change ago, and New Jersey also had their primaries as well. I want to let you listen into what they're saying out at this particular rally.
Senator, the first Latina senator from the state of Colorado. Folks, today has been a rough day for a couple reasons, namely there's a rather big natural disaster that occurred south of town here. I know all of you feel the same way I do. There's no city of Pueblo, there's no Beulah, there's no Colorado City. We're all Pueblo. And I just wanted to tell so many people in this room, thank you for reaching out, asking how you can help. I think we are at our best in this community in times of crisis. We come together, we take care of each other, and I saw that firsthand today. So I just want to say thank you very much to all of you. One of the people that reached out to me early on in the day, that I believe she would have reached out whether or not she was trying to become the next United States Senator, was Julie Gonzalez. She reached out because that's the kind of person she is. She legitimately cares about our communities. So I'm so proud to be up here. I'm so proud to just know Julie. I tell my wife, I get off the phone with Julie and I'm like, can you believe that the next senator of the United States is like calling me? Julie, Pueblo loves you. And it's so exciting to think about people that look like us, that think like us, that work like us at the highest levels of power in our government. So thank you for everything you do. Thank you for caring. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Up next, we have Representative Javier Mabry. From Denver, come on down.
What's up, Pueblo? Who's excited? Who is excited to show up and vote for Senator Julie Gonzalez and David Seligman tomorrow? The Attorney General's race is slept on, but it is so critical to the fight against the oligarchs, to the fight for working people. David Seligman has spent his career fighting for the many against the money. He has stood up for JBS meatpacking workers whose hands are misshapen because of conditions on the line. He stood up for Amazon workers forced to pee in bottles because of their working conditions. Right now, the system is working exactly as it was designed. And last week, the first trillionaire ever was created. If you gave Jesus Christ $1 million every single day from the day he was born and he was still alive today, Elon Musk would be richer. That is a system working as designed, a system that is designed to benefit wealth over work. And it is critical that we elect an Attorney General who has dedicated his career fighting for workers, fighting for our neighbors drowning in medical debt. I am so honored to stand in support of David Seligman. At the Capitol, he's on the front lines of the fights to ban surveillance pricing. He's on the front lines of the fights to make it so medical debt cannot be garnished from your wages. Woo! Which, by the way, is the law of the land in the state of Texas. So with that, give it up for David Seligman.
What's up, Pueblo? It's an honor to be down here. Look, I started this campaign more than a year ago right here in Pueblo, Colorado, talking about how we're going to put the law on the side of working families. That's where we're finishing it, because Pueblo, you get to decide. You get to decide. You get to decide that we don't need to be living this way. You get to pick our next United States Senator, right? You get to decide who your lawyer is going to be. You get to decide that we are done. We are done with the musical chair politics where political consultants tell us who our leaders ought to be. We get to decide, right? This is our state. That's what this is about. My name is David Seligman. I'm a workers' rights, civil rights, consumer protection lawyer. I've dedicated every single day of my career standing up in court for working families. Not working in government, not running for elections, but fighting for people across Colorado. And I'm running for Attorney General to be your lawyer. Yeah. We've taken on some of the biggest fights in the country against the biggest corporations in the world. As my friend, Representative Javier Mabry said, for Amazon delivery drivers forced to urinate in bottles to meet Jeff Bezos' quotas. Well, he stands behind the president at the inauguration with $250 billion in his pocket, right? Fighting for hundreds of thousands of Coloradans drowning in medical debt in one of the wealthiest states in the wealthiest country in the history of the world, when we've got 100 billionaires who own homes just over the mountains here in Aspen, right? We do not need to be living this way. We just won in the United States Supreme Court a case I've been litigating for more than a decade on behalf of tens of thousands locked up at the Immigration Detention Center in Aurora, Colorado, taking on the Geo Group, the private prison company that owns it. I love sharing about that case because, you know, when we brought that case back in 2014, I had an opportunity to meet a person who is now my political hero. A young activist and organizer, a paralegal, an investigator, standing up on the side of immigrants. You know who that person was? That was Julie Gonzalez, right? She's been doing the work, and I am so happy that she's going to be our next United States Senator. Look, I want to share a brief story with you about my client, Kathy. Kathy lived in North Denver, and her husband died. And when her husband died, the debt collector started coming after her for thousands and thousands of dollars in debt she didn't even owe. To the $1 billion hospital system, UC Health. At the pit of her grief, right, when she's grieving her husband, in order to make the debt collectors go away, she sells the last valuable possession she has.
All right, you guys, we're going to interrupt there while they're talking again at this pre-election night watch party that's going on in Pueblo, Colorado. Again, this is for one of their senators, or person who wants the Senate seat. Now, I saw in the comment section some of you guys were asking, what does this have to do with Philadelphia? Why are we watching this particular event? And first, on the hyper-local level, you should always be interested in your primaries, because that kind of dictates who's going to speak for you and who's going to represent you at the national and sometimes even international level. And so you're going to want to know who your local politicians are, but also know that you have had a say in who's representing you. But then also across the aisle, I think that this election in particular is going to be one where you want to know who's filling those seats in other states and other cities and other counties, because it's going to have a big impact on what happens in the future with potentially flipping House, flipping Senate. Also, in if you're unhappy or very happy with how things are being run on the national level in terms of our president, then who you vote in on the local level also really matters, and it matters to see what other states are doing as well. What's interesting is we are seeing some states who are historically blue or historically red. Like over the years, we're seeing them turn sides. And sometimes it all starts with these primary elections. So I thought it would be interesting to show you what was going on across the country, to give you an idea of the types of people who are running, but also what the people around them are saying about them and saying about their policies, so that you'll know who's actually in the House, who's actually in the Senate, who's actually making those decisions or deciding what to put on the president's desk for him to sign and turn into law. So that's just the latest that is happening out there in Colorado. But don't worry, I heard you guys. We're going to get you some closer to home hyperlocal news as well. So if you didn't hear me say this at the top of the show, we've just gotten indication that the suspect in the Wilmington Hospital shooting out in Delaware has been ordered to be extradited back to Delaware. So let's back up just in case this is your first time seeing his face there. 23 years old, and his name is John Wallace Bay. They say that he was an intern at the hospital there in Delaware. It's known as Wilmington Hospital. You also may know it as Christiana Care. They say that there was some sort of disagreement between him and his colleagues earlier on in the day, and that John had been asked to leave the building. He'd been released for the day. He was expected to return the following day. However, they say that he came back later that afternoon armed with a gun, opened fire, and shot two of his colleagues who were 19 years old. One of those 19-year-olds did not make it. And so, again, you're taking a look at him on your screen there. They say shortly after that, somehow, some way, he was able to leave the hospital and make his way to the area of Philadelphia. That's when police came back into contact with him. They found him. They were able to take him into their custody, and he was taken to jail. Now, since then, because this is a crime that happened in Delaware, because he's a Delaware man, they were saying that they were going to have to, at some point in time, send him back. So the judge has officially ordered for that extradition to happen. Now, when it could take place, it could be today, it could be tomorrow, it could be next week. The state of Delaware has the next 30 days, starting today, to bring him back. And then he will have to face a judge there for the crimes. He's been charged with a slew of different things, including murder in the first degree, attempted murder, and then a couple of other big things as well. He is also facing a charge of hold on, you guys. I thought I had his third and fourth charges here as well. Unfortunately, I don't have those particular ones, but we do have an article available for you on our free Fox Local app. You could also go to fox29.com if you'd like to learn a little bit more. But this was one of those situations where while I was getting ready for the 7 o'clock news, there's just thought in my head, that popped in my head, hey, what's going on with the Wilmington Hospital shooting? I ended up looking into it, and I saw that a judge had actually put out the order that was a public record. And so I asked the station, what's going on with this? Have we seen anything about it? And then lo and behold, it ended up being breaking news earlier in the day. So again, just the latest that we have here closer to home. Now, we're going to take a quick commercial break, but I know one thing that is for sure on the minds of everybody who's watching from the Philadelphia, Delaware, New Jersey area. Everybody's wondering what's going on with this heat, because in the next couple of days, we're supposed to enter our next heat wave, and this could be historic. So we'll touch base with one of our meteorologists about all of it when we come back. Welcome back to Philadelphia Live, you guys. If you have a chance, I want you to go outside at some point, maybe even just look out the window. The moon looks incredible tonight. I mean, yes, the color, depending on where you are, we've seen some images where it looks like almost pinkish. We've seen some images that you're looking now, it looks like gold. And also, it's like huge. And I'm hearing that this is called the strawberry moon. We'll be touching base with our meteorologist in just a little while to discuss like what exactly is going on here. We'll also, of course, be talking to you all about the heat. And speaking of the heat and how hot it is, I'm hearing that it is changing some of the city's biggest plans. Like, we have been planning for America's 250th birthday, July 4th, and all of the events lining up and leading up to it for like months, maybe even over a year at this point now. And we're just now hearing that there are some major changes happening. So if you're interested in the FIFA World Cup, there is a match scheduled for the 4th of July. There are plenty leading up to it. We're hearing that FIFA Fan Fest out in Lemon Hill has had its hours changed because they don't want you fans out there in those insane heat temperatures. So Tuesday, tomorrow, 4 p.m. to midnight, that's when you'll be able to get out there. To Wednesday, it'll be back open 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. But then Thursday, as you can see, it's only open 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. On Friday, 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. And then on Saturday, it's going to be noon to the time the game ends. And on Sunday, it is 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. Now, if you have gotten out there on any of the other days, like FIFA Fan Fest is open for hours. It's absolutely free. There's so much for you to do. There's not that much shade out there, though. Depending on where you're at, there is a little section where you can sit on some park benches and some picnic tables. There's one tree over there, though, and so, not too much coverage. As the chopper zooms out, you can see exactly what I'm talking about there. For the most part, you guys are just in an open field, and so they want to make sure that people aren't experiencing heat exhaustion or worse. As we all know, when it is super, super hot out and you don't have the water, you're not able to cover yourself, extreme heat can lead to death in some cases. So what they're saying here on Tuesday, Thursday, and then also Saturday, they want to keep people out from being under the sun for long periods of time. For Tuesday and Thursday especially, they are making sure that people are not out there during the daytime. So you're only going to be able to get out there in the evening when the sun goes down. But I'm also hearing that for the next couple of days, it might not matter if the sun is down or not. It's still going to be hot. And on that note, let's turn things over to our meteorologist. Kathy Orr's been waiting on standby. Kathy, we've talked to the people just a little bit about the strawberry moon and just a little bit about all this heat. What have you got for us?
There's so much to talk about. Judea, we're talking about the intense heat, and not even the heat wave. It's the fact that we're going to have 100-degree temperatures. First things first, let's talk about the strawberry moon. It is not going to be pink. It is named after the fact that this time of year is the strawberry harvest, and you can see it in our camera. This is live from Media, Delaware County. It is just picture perfect, and it looks so beautiful. It was low in the sky, and we're watching it rise. It's the lowest hanging full moon because it is near the summer solstice. So the sun is at its highest point, so the moon is at its lowest point. So it's definitely a different view than what we are used to for a full moon. And there you can see it behind another shot. I mean, it is just gorgeous tonight. So when we talk about the strawberry moon, it has many names. And of course, the exact timing of it was about an hour ago, but you're going to see it brilliant in the night sky tonight and even tomorrow night. It's the lowest hanging full moon because it's closest to the summer solstice. I mentioned that. The name is linked to the strawberry harvesting season. And it also has other names like the rose moon, the hot moon, and the honeymoon. But the honeymoon is not the romantic version that we're all thinking about. It's because of the harvesting of honey. But you can put any connotation with that you want. We're going to be watching that heat building over the next several days, Wednesday through Saturday, really the danger zone as temperatures get around 100 degrees during that period. Right now, we're still at 80 in Philadelphia, down the shore, still in the 70s, and the ocean water temperature has warmed to 72 degrees. So that's a good thing as well. Overnight lows close to 70 and high temperatures tomorrow quite warm in the 90s. So by midday, we're talking about 80s. Extreme heat begins Wednesday. It continues through Saturday. This is likely to become an extreme heat warning by tomorrow, anticipating the heat and humidity will combine to make it feel like 110. But when temperatures are already in the hundreds, it's not going to take that much humidity to get there. These are the records that we're challenging. Thursday's record of 103 looks like we'll beat that. And Friday's record of 104, we will tie or surpass that. When we look at the historic heat that can occur this week, here are some numbers to beat. The last time we had back-to-back 100-degree days, which will happen this year or this week, it was July 2011, so 15 years ago. The most consecutive 100-degree days was 3 days, and that was in July of 1993. Before that, you had to go back in the 60s. That could happen this week. Another thing that could happen, the all-time record high in Philadelphia for any day, any year, since records have been kept in the 1800s, is 106. And that happened August 7th, 1918. That could be broken as well. So we do tell people in this dangerous heat, it is going to be extensive. We started in the 90s today. stay in air conditioning. We always say lightweight clothing, use a fan, open a window, drink plenty of water, and keep an eye on your neighbors. Of course, the elderly and the young are the most susceptible to this heat. As we go through it, 92 Tuesday, July begins Wednesday, 97, 104 Thursday, 104 Friday, near 100 Saturday, which is the 4th of July, and our last match of the World Cup in Philadelphia. So that is quite a day indeed, celebrating Philadelphia's 250th, the country's 250th. Everything's happening on Saturday. We could have some afternoon showers and thunderstorms, have to be watchful of that. It's still hot Sunday and temperatures in the 80s by Monday, but it is going to be a significant stretch of 90-degree plus heat. To tell you the truth, I'm more concerned about those 100-degree days and the extent of this heat than anything else.
Okay. I mean, as somebody who's hoping to get out for the 4th of July, my thought was the potential for storms. Now, would that impact like the fireworks or any of the other pomp and circumstance they have planned potentially?
Absolutely. Yeah, right now we're hoping for afternoon storms and get that out of the way. The World Cup match is at 5 p.m. There could be delays because of lightning, but I do think they shouldn't have a problem getting the match in at this point. We'll keep our fingers crossed on that. And then, of course, the fireworks come later in the evening, so there's a good chance that all this activity could be out by then. So I think we need to get closer to that date to figure that out, but that would be the biggest concern for storms. But as far as the heat and heat dangers and heat deaths and that type of thing, that's a real threat this week.
Okay, that makes sense to me. I've always wondered this. I've talked to some meteorologists about this before, and I find that the answer, it really depends. But I want to ask you too. So when it comes to like the 7-day or the 10-day, or sometimes people even look ahead to a 30-day, what time would be the most accurate to know what's coming ahead?
Very confident in this forecast. In the summer, you can see more consistency. These temperatures we're very confident in, even reaching 100 degrees. The timing of those storms on Saturday is going to be iffy depending on how quickly they develop and what time of day they develop. We'll know more when we get closer, and we'll be able to look at the computer models as we get closer. So some of those computer models are better a day out, 2 days out, rather than long range models for small things like thunderstorms. I mean, we saw the gospel choir and that beautiful event on Independence Mall last night being cut short, and that was part of the whole Welcome America celebration, our 250th celebration. Sheba and I were there, Judea, and the headliner wasn't even out yet, and everyone had to scramble. And that was one area of rain and a thunderstorm that came through Montgomery County and Philadelphia County, and it just ruined the event. So it doesn't have to be widespread to create a problem, and that's the problem with summertime storms.
Yeah, Kathy, I'm actually really happy that you brought that up because a lot of people have been talking about it. It's all over social media. I wanted to get out, and for whatever reason, whether it was I was just being lazy, I don't know. But I decided to stay home and clean instead. And then seeing it on social media that they had to shut things down, and I saw Kirk Franklin was like on top of his car telling people sorry. But yeah, that was the reality yesterday. So I think it's making people a little antsy looking ahead when they see a forecast like the one we've got, and they know they want to get out there for the 4th of July or even the World Cup.
That's the hardest part about this, because you want to be there, but then these are micro events. The storms last night was simply, just over the wrong place, unfortunately, and bad timing. And yes, and I do believe that Kirk Franklin said, "I'll be back. I'll be back."
And I didn't even know what that means.
And you know what? They kind of stalled because they were ready for him to come out. They pushed him forward knowing it was going to rain probably within the next 15-20 minutes, and then he didn't come out. So I'm wondering if he didn't because he didn't want to start and stop, but then the rain came in and just blew everything. And the sad part is, if there was a place for people to take shelter for like 20 or 30 minutes, they might have been able to resume, but it just wasn't set up that way.
And that makes me think about that previous World Cup match that we had here in Philadelphia. You were here with me, you and Scott, here on the 7 to 10 for Philadelphia Live, and we saw that because of lightning, they had to shut things down. And then, honestly, it looked like a monsoon. I'm being dramatic. But it was one of those things where, as you mentioned, if you were able to go ahead and take shelter, pretty soon they were able to get the game back underway. So, you know, it's like a do if you don't. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard because, you know, you want to be outside and you want to be at Independence Mall, but there is no shelter. So you wonder, do they need to put tents up next year just in case? But if there's storms, is that safe? It's just a really tough call, and I think they did the best they could under the circumstances.
Yeah, what do you do? Well, while I have you, our director right here put together the most beautiful collage of the strawberry moon.
Wow.
And it just shows
it.
you, depending on the camera, the way the color comes through, but then also based on the one with the U.S. Capitol, like how huge or how close, I guess, it really is.
Yeah. It's still rising, so the moon will continue to rise over the Capitol over the course of the night. And also you have that heat and humidity giving it that kind of hazy look in the upper right. And then our picture out of Delco, which is the lower right, it kind of gives it that super yellow hue. So yeah, it looks different. Where is that one? Oh, that's Allentown in the lower right. So I think everybody has a different view tonight, but nevertheless, this is your full moon, your summer solstice full moon of June, and it is gorgeous.
I love that you pointed out that the haze is out there because of the humidity and the heat, because I have an astigmatism, so I thought that that's how I was seeing it. That's how I see every light.
Yeah, no, that's definitely has a little bit of some high clouds around it in the upper right, that view. But just gorgeous, no matter how you view it. And depending on the sky conditions where you are viewing it, it will look obviously different. It's pretty.
Yeah. I love it. It is really pretty. I love looking at the moon and the stars. Kathy, thank you so much for walking us through our forecast, talking to us a little bit more about the strawberry moon, what it is, all the other different moons and their phrasing. I didn't even know that we had an actual honeymoon outside of the, the honeymoon.
Exactly. Yeah. And it all has to do with American Indian or Native American sayings that they took this, and the Farmer's Almanac has all these names, or you can look them up online, but every single month has a special name that does have to do with harvesting and that type of year. So it's kind of interesting stuff.
Yeah, I love it. Again, Kathy, thank you.
You're welcome.
For those of you out there streaming with us, there's still a lot ahead. So one of Philadelphia's, we have a lot of things that we're famous for out here, but I think especially with foreigners or people who are coming to the city for the very first time ever. Of course, everybody wants to try a Philly cheesesteak, but then the next thing that they want to do is go out and see the Rocky Steps and go to see the Rocky statue. Well, I'm hearing that they have now moved a statue of Joe Frazier, I'm giving it away, you guys, out onto those steps. This is outside of the Museum of Art right here in the city of Philadelphia. And the mayor had something to say, because of course a lot of people are like, well, what about Rocky? We come here to see Rocky. And she says, well, hold on. I talked to Sylvester Stallone first. Go ahead and take a listen.
Sylvester Stallone and learning about what we were trying to do with the amazing exhibit on the inside. So we had a plan. We knew what we were going to do on the inside. We knew what was happening this year. But Sylvester Stallone began to give me a history. Pastor, I didn't know anything about this history because I wasn't at the table, Ryan Boyer and Sam. But apparently the City of Philadelphia's Art Commission has not always been welcoming to adjustments to public art in the city of Philadelphia. Was I mayoral with that, y'all? And what I assured Sylvester Stallone of is that, one, we were going to make sure that it happened. We appreciate what the Rocky statue has done to lift Philadelphia's legacy of grit, of being the underdog and overcoming obstacles. That brand has helped the city of Philadelphia. But what I need you to know is that when I shared with Sylvester Stallone that we were moving Joe Frazier here, Sylvester Stallone said, that is what is supposed to happen. So give it up for Sylvester Stallone. the people who made this happen. Our Chief Cultural Officer, Val Gay, and her Public Art Director, Marguerite Anglin, and the entire Creative Philadelphia team. Give them a round of applause. Val Gay, this is going to be etched in Philadelphia's history for generations to come. And you and your team will be able to affirm that we got the directive, but there are a whole lot of people that get directives in the city of Philadelphia. It doesn't necessarily mean that whatever that directive is going to be executed. But you understood the assignment with your team, and you got it done. So let history reflect that Val Gay was the leading party in the administration who worked to move this. Artist Stephen Lane. Is Stephen Lane here? Stephen, come over here, Stephen. Give Stephen a round of applause, please. Now, she's not in here, but she should be in here. I told Judge Lynn Carter about 6 to 8 months ago that we were working on something special, and I couldn't tell her about it during that time. But I told her she needed to get ready for Philadelphia to reclaim itself as the #1 boxing training city in the nation, but we can't do that without facilities. Here's a bit of a challenge to those of you who are really excited about being here today. We've got a building that was on Broad in Glenwood. I'm not sure how many of you know about that building that was on Broad in Glenwood. So I want you to know that part of the assignment of being here today is to say that as mayor of the city, I couldn't begin a capital campaign asking you to contribute to acquire a building that we should restore that is the golden training site for boxers in the city of Philadelphia. But what would that look like if I was the mayor telling you to contribute to that and I hadn't taken any action to get done what we needed to get done here in the city? We understood the assignment, and now we're asking you all to help us to get the second part of this done. We need to raise the capital so that we can make Joe Frazier's gym the golden training facility in this city. Are y'all willing to help? There are several people that are already working on this effort. What we are going to make sure that we do is establish, and Chief Deputy Mayor Vanessa Garrett Harley will be working on this. We will establish a vehicle via the city fund that will allow people to make a contribution with all of those dollars directly funneled into that facility. Are we ready, Philadelphia? We can get it done. I also need to recognize Marco Frederico of Heritage Conservation Collective and the entire construction and conservation team who moved and installed the statue. Give them a round of applause. Their work usually happens behind the scenes, but it is essential. And, you can tell how people care about something and how they treat it. And they treated this like it was golden. And so this beloved work of art has been treated with the utmost respect, extraordinary care, and professionalism. And we want you and your team to know that we are excited. The Frazier family, Judge Jackie Frazier Lott and Big Pete and the Smoking Joe Frazier Champions Foundation. Give them all a huge round of applause. They affirmed earlier that Smoking Joe Frazier exemplifies the very best of Philadelphia. Yes, that discipline and that grit and that resilience and that humility. And most important right now, it's heart. For those of us who remember going by the gym or going in the gym and you think about his legacy, you think about the fact that he started his boxing career here in Philadelphia. Where's Susan Slauson? Susan, guess what? Through the Police Athletic League. And then went on to become the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world and an Olympic gold medalist. And it was named Fighter of the Year on multiple occasions. When Daddy would talk about him, Daddy is is my grandfather, Daddy would say, Joe, Frazier. My grandfather had a speech impediment, and he stammered. And if you wanted to hear him get really excited, he would say, it was Joe. No, Frazier was the first person to defeat Muhammad Ali. And it's a moment that captured my grandfather's pride when he and his friends would get together and they would talk about the pride that they felt when lifting up the name of Joe Frazier. Here we see Joe Frazier frozen in time, just moments after that legendary fight of the century. His famous left hook is sealing his victory. And we need to remember that that's important, but to me, the most important part of his legacy is on a photo that you see right behind us, where you see him with a group of young men, and he is working on training them. And being right here, his training ritual of running the steps, yes, it did help to inspire Sylvester Stallone and that iconic fictional character of Rocky, but this was also a strong symbol for Philadelphia as well. And so, as we have seen the world embrace our traditions here on these steps, let us remember that this story is inspired by Joe Frazier. If you never thought that telling the truth about history has mattered,
it does.
So many people wouldn't be trying to stop us from documenting in a very formal way that can't be rewritten. I mean, anybody can try to retell it that way, but to me, there's only one way that we will document and tell our history here in the city of Philadelphia, and that is to tell the truth. So during this 250th celebration of the birthplace of democracy here in Philadelphia, the birthplace of American democracy, we will forever remember that the city got right what it had gotten wrong for a long, long time. But we all work together to understand the assignment, to meet this moment. After Joe Frazier, you all are going to see some statues. One is Harriet Tubman. Give Sister Harriet Tubman a round of applause. Another legend is coming, Sadie T.M. Alexander. She's going to stand atop the Municipal Services Building. And when you see that, I hope you see that we are making strides and we're building a legacy that reflects the diversity of our city. We're telling our history and we're telling the truth in the prime location. I don't care where you see this picture of this museum and these steps. You don't have to tell anyone where you are. All they have to do is to see the image. And now, Joe Frazier is attached and connected to and will permanently be here at our Philadelphia Museum of Art. In honor of Joe, I want everybody to put one finger in the air for me. Put one finger in the air. What we all aspire to be, and Val, we use art as a vehicle to do it, to unify us, no matter our race, our class, our socioeconomic status, our zip code, our religion, our sexual orientation or identity. We aspire to be a unified city. So I want to hear you all repeat after me. One Philly, one Philly. A united city, one America, a united nation. We finally got the history right, Philadelphia. Thank you.
All right, that's Philly's mayor right there, Sherelle Parker speaking, and up goes Frazier in this new statue that has finally made its way to the Museum of Art here in Philadelphia. Again, normally this would be the spot that you see Rocky, or at least that's what a lot of people know this particular area for, but according to Mayor Parker and, well, according to history, he modeled a lot of his character, because it is a fictional character, modeled him after Joe Frazier. So this particular sculpture was created by Stephen Lang in 2015. It was originally installed in South Philadelphia, but again, now it will be on the base of the museum steps where they say that he regularly trained. So he is very much so a part of Philadelphia history. Now, the mayor said that he represents the very best of our city: discipline, resilience, humility, and heart. His daughter says that honoring him is not just about showing that he's a champion. It's about showing that he was a man who worked hard for what he got, that he standed his ground, that he often would give back to a city. And so it's about time that the city gives back to him. So if you guys would like to come out and see it, you're taking a look at what it is. The statue depicts Frazier at the very height of his career. He's standing over Muhammad Ali. This is the moment that he had that historic victory in 1971. They call it the fight of the century. So what a way to enter America's 250th birthday right ahead of 4th of July. We know so many people from all across the world have been out here to visit. So many people have been out there on the steps just to have a good time right before they go to a FIFA World Cup match. So from now on, when people enter the city of Philadelphia and they go to the place that is one of the most well-known spots here, they're going to know someone who was real, who was part of the very fabric, threads of the city of brotherly love. So that's what happened a little earlier out there today. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, I want to get into some trending news. We're going to be touching base with Jake Leonard just to see what you guys are scrolling on, what you're reading, what you're watching, all that good stuff when we come back. Welcome back into Philadelphia Live. At the end of the show here, we love to touch base with what's trending. We want to ask you guys our question of the night. What are people scrolling on? What are people looking into? What's big on social media right now, Jake?
So tonight I have two kind of like follow-ups to trending topics I shared in the past.
Okay.
So the first one is very upsetting. It's about Daveigh Chase. If you remember, she was the actress who was Lilo in the original Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah.
And then also The Ring, who a couple weeks ago I shared, she passed away. So if you remember, the details surrounding her death were kind of mysterious. there was there was a lot kind of up in the air, you know. But today we got confirmation from TMZ her cause of death, and she unfortunately passed away from AIDS.
Okay. And this happens to be one of those things, like, yes, we are beyond the 80s where a lot of people were very easily losing their life. We didn't know that much. There wasn't a lot of studies being done.
Yes.
It's just when you found out that you had HIV or AIDS, back then it was like a death sentence.
Yes.
But I feel like we've come so far in medicine, but still.
Yes, we definitely have, you know, we've made so many advancements, but she did have an autoimmune disease, so it made it harder for her body to fight it. So it's really sad, but, you know, I guess we got some closure. The family found out, so.
That's so sad, because she also, I mean, I guess it's life, but she gave us so many of pop culture's biggest moments.
Right.
Everybody knows Lilo and Stitch. Everybody knows the girl who crawls out of the TV in the
Exactly.
So for while she was here on Earth, you know, gave us a lot, the world a lot, and on such like a broad spectrum.
Yes, she was so incredibly talented. You know, like, I feel like the two big roles that we're talking about, The Ring, Lilo and Stitch, they couldn't be more different, you know. So, like, she was just so amazing, and from everything I heard, she was, like, just a beautiful person, and people love to be around her. So it's really sad, but I just want to remember who she was as a person and all the joy that she brought to so many people. So
thank you for sharing that one with us. And again, it's like a full circle moment for us, because just like the family's getting closure, we hear for our audience who remembered you bringing that up before, we're also getting closure.
Yes. So that is one of the follow-ups from TMZ. The other one is involving one of the lawsuits we talked about. So a couple weeks ago, we were talking about Tyra Banks and America's Next Top Model and all the drama surrounding that. So actually, we have a couple winners weighing in.
Of course we do. Wait, I want to guess. Is one of them Danny?
No.
Okay.
No. Yes.
So who's talking?
So the first one was the winner of Cycle 3.
Okay.
Okay, I believe her name was Eva, I'm not sure how she pronounces
Eva Marcel?
it. Yes, Eva, yes.
Wait.
Yes.
Okay. What did Eva say?
Eva said they, like, you know, TMZ caught up with her at the airport, and they kind of were asking her about it. And she was like, you know what, Tyra, go get that bank. Good for you. I support it.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, so we have...
That's surprising.
We have her supporting Tyra. And then we have the original winner. She said... She's like, now Tyra can feel how we felt during the show. So she's not in support of Tyra and is kind of being like, the documentary did a really good job. We were put through a lot. And, you know, I think it's ridiculous that Tyra is doing this. It painted her in, like, how she was.
There were people coming out commenting, even here in our live stream chat, just trying to figure out what she could possibly be suing for. Because some people were saying, well, the documentary, you were also a part of it.
Right.
And had a very big role in it, too.
Yeah.
So they were kind of confused as to what went wrong. But maybe she says that she was painted in not a completely accurate light.
Yes.
And that is big if it's true.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, but...
It's like both sides. You see both sides.
Yeah, it's... I mean, like, she did, like, her claim is that, you know, she did, like, hours worth of filming, and they kind of edited it down to paint her in another picture, so...
Yeah. And it's one of those things, too, like... when you got a project like a documentary or like a reality TV show and you have all of these hours worth of footage, you can only put so much in. But my thing, I wonder, like, would she ever consider sitting down in a YouTube video and just saying all that you want to say?
A tell-all interview. Yeah, because, I mean, that is becoming...
Hire your own journalist that'll ask you questions.
More and more common, and people are sharing their side of the story, taking the power back. I feel like Tyra definitely could do that.
Yeah,
So.
and then make it unedited. Do it live
Yeah.
if you want to.
Yeah, exactly.
But also maybe she's just turned off at this point after doing this kind of project.
I mean, it's
Who knows?
like she's going against Netflix, which obviously Netflix is a powerhouse, you know. So I feel like if she didn't feel like she had strong enough backing, then she wouldn't have gone for it. So obviously we don't know everything that she's gonna pull out in courts, but I feel like she must have, or she must at least feel like she's a pretty solid case to back her up.
You know, another thing that everybody's been talking about, FIFA World Cup.
Yes.
I've been paying attention to the matches today. Oh, you know her?
Yeah, I might.
I've been paying attention to the matches today, and one that we actually like literally right at the top of our show. It was the Paraguay matchup, and they actually came out on top. They were facing Germany.
Yes,
and
that
a
was
lot
pretty
of people-
amazing to watch. Yeah, it was so unexpected. Everyone in here was like,
Yep, because it was last minute. And they had gone so far. They made it to the penalty kicks, and then like we were holding our breath, seeing what was going to happen. A lot of people thought it was going to be Germany, and they came on the top. So I'm hearing that because Paraguay won, that means that they will face their next match here in Philadelphia, which is exciting for us. It's right ahead of July 4th.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're taking a live look out at Philadelphia Stadium where that match will go down. Again, that is going to be on the 4th of July. We'll have so much coverage available for you here on Fox Local. If you're not watching the game itself and you just want the behind the scenes and some fun with our anchors, we do that here. We go there. In addition to that, I know that there is a match right now. The Netherlands, they are facing Morocco. This is going down at Monterrey Stadium, in case you guys are interested in that one. Now, at last check, I'll check again in just a second, but at last check, I don't believe anybody had scored just yet.
No, it looks like it's still 0-0.
Okay, and they're officially in halftime though. Okay.
Yes.
So a lot more soccer to be played. Okay. So that is another one. And by the way, this is all the round of 32. So everybody's trying to fight for their spot in the next round. This is like we're officially in the knockout stage.
Right.
So if
it's getting real.
Yeah. If you lose, you're going home. Pack those bags. I just wonder, I don't know too much about the Netherlands team or the Morocco team, so I don't know who could win this one. They're both good.
Okay.
Okay, so this is a heavy hitter. That's why nobody has scored yet.
Right?
Okay.
They're so good.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of been happening a lot with these matches. We've seen a lot of teams that are pretty like evenly matched up, and it's like we're seeing, I mean, now obviously can't end in a draw, but a lot of matches at the beginning were ending in draws, and it was kind of crazy to watch.